Why does it say 1 hour? Why does it say 1 hour on my thing?
Thanks a lot for your quote.
All right. I don't know. I'm live. I plan on going more than an hour, YouTube. I don't know why it said an hour. I don't know. I hit some wrong button. Hi, everyone. Welcome to my incredibly competent live stream where we do it live. Hi, I'm Tony D, and I've been in the sun for 2 days. Woo, did I live a piney life this weekend. Oh, let me tell you all about it while people get in here. So, I went first. I'll tell you about my week. I had a huge week. I have to go to my list. I had so many events this week. Monday was Farmstead. Oh, great. Now my website isn't loading. There it goes. The Farmstead at Medford was Monday. The Sunrise Seniors Center in Shrewsbury was Tuesday. Community Club at Deep Run was Wednesday. St. Mary's Villa was Thursday in Cherry Hill. I got to go back to that again on Thursday, the 22nd. I think I'm going back on Thursday. When the hell am I going back? St. Mary's. Yeah, I have Thursday written down. Why do I have something else written down? Oh, that could be bad. Did I forget to write it down? Oh boy. Because that's in Keensburg. Oh man, I got to make some calls. That's a 16th. I got to make some calls. Then I was in Millville on Friday. Sorry, I'm a little fried. And then Saturday and Sunday I was at the Cranberry Festival. Now, the Cranberry Festival is the piniest event I've ever been to, hands down. And don't get me wrong, Pine Barrens Maker Fest was pretty piney. But this was like going back in time to the 70s. Because, and it was a great show. Amazing show. Saw a lot of fans. And there were tons of people there. I mean, tons. But we had to understand about Chatsworth, New Jersey. You can look it up on Google. Chatsworth has basically, JEC is here. Hi, hi, hi. So Chatsworth has basically an intersection in the middle of town and precious little else. There's a few side roads that lead to houses, and I assume some of them are farms. But there's basically an intersection at the middle of town. So the only way to get through the Pines in Chatsworth is to drive through Chatsworth, to drive through the middle of town. So consequently, Filbert Coffee Esquire's here. We need you to go over Academy Museum Gala worst dress. Okay, we will do that. Academy Museum Gala worst dress. I don't know what that is, but I'll find it. Well, let me finish my weekend. So there's 2 roads coming in. So they had to keep the road open for the entire festival. But I thought the festival would be more so off the road. But there's so many people and so many vendors at this thing. The vendors are actually, now I wasn't, but some of the other vendors were actually on the road. They were on the shoulder of the road. And people were walking across the road all weekend. And it's not an unbusy road. Now, the speed limit in the Pine Barrens in this area is about 50 miles an hour. Now, that's not the speed within Chatsworth. You have to slow down when you get to Chatsworth anyway, but only to about 35. And so it was still a pretty busy roadway. So much so that I heard someone got hit by a car. I hope they were fine. There was an ambulance on site. I think someone got taken today, but I think that was a medical emergency. But it reminded me of back in the day when people just did stuff like this. Like, I've been to a lot of events, as you well know, and some of the bigger ones, they'll get mad at you if you don't do exactly what they want. So I pulled up to this thing Saturday morning, and I was really paranoid because I had never done it before. And this is like, they were really specific, like, you got to be in your space before it starts or we'll not be happy. So I decided to show up super early. Like, it starts at 9. They said you have to be in your space by 8:30. Indie Phantom Tron Arse really shat the bed. Oh man, we got lots to talk about today. So I decided to leave. I decided to be there. It takes me about 45 minutes to get there. I decided to leave at 6 a.m., right? So I couldn't get to sleep. Joan, I was so excited to do the show. Joan wakes me up 3 times. Finally, it's 4:39 in the morning. I haven't gotten much sleep. And I'm like, if I can't go back to sleep by 5, I'm just going to get up. And I did. So I got up at 5 instead of 6. And I said, I'll get myself some breakfast or whatever. So I got ready, but I was so excited. I said, you know what? I'll leave even earlier. There's no way they could possibly be mad if I show up that early. I might be there too early, but then I'll get breakfast or something, right? So I get there, and I have to go to this particular house to register. And normally, when I go to these things, it's like, oh, you got to go to the registration desk. And there's like a booth, and there's people with jackets and stuff, and they're like, you got to pull over there, you got to wait in line. So I get there, and I'm like, I see the woman who's running the event, and I like, can I just pull over to the road and run over to you and get my information? I expect her to go, hell no, you have to go park and then walk back. And she went, yeah, go ahead, park in that. What do I care? So I just parked on the side of the road on this fairly busy road. Like, literally trucks are going down this road every once in a while. And I run in there, Indie Phantom. Jared Leto introduces the movie in a half-empty cinema. Tool. No way. He introduced the movie? Jesus. That's desperate. So I go inside, I get my info, and she goes, your booth 117. We painted it on the ground. That's something they do. They just spray paint the ground with the numbers, and then they'll mow the grass later and it'll be gone. So I like, okay. So I go over, and it's pitch black, and I can't see the numbers on the ground. So I'm like, I get out of the car where I think my booth might be, and I'm looking around on the ground with my phone trying to see the numbers, and it's so dark I can barely see anything. I'm talking to other vendors, what number are you? And some of those people set up the night before, and I'm like, holy crap, maybe I should have come up here the night before, but I couldn't. I had another event. So finally I find what looks like 117, and by this time I'm like, oh man, was it 117 or was it 119? And then I start second guessing myself, which is something I do. Do you ever do that? You second guess yourself even though you knew it? I said, no, I'm not going to second guess myself. I'm going to go with 117. So I start setting up. But I'm in the middle of the woods, basically, in the middle of the Pine Barrens. And it's so dewy, and the sun hasn't come up yet. So like everything I put in place, I touch it again, and it's wet because everything's condensing on everything. So I can't put out the books yet because I've gotten there too early. So I put the books in a big pile on my cart, and I throw some trash bags over it, and I go park my car, and I'm figuring like, oh man, I'm going to be like a quarter of a mile away. Nah, they just let us park in the customer vendor lot. They just gave us a pass. And I walked back, and I had to wait for the sun to come up before I could put everything up because it was just getting all wet. It was crazy. And eventually, the sun came up, I put out all my stuff, and I had an amazing, amazing day. And the girlfriend came, and she helped me. She was facilitating sales all day, which is something I was very happy about. She was like handing out my postcard and saying, oh, he'll sign the book for you. He wrote this book. This is my boyfriend. Very nice. Very nice. It was good. It made me look good. It made me feel good, too. Thank you, baby, if you're watching. So we had a great day, sold a ton of books. It was mobbed. It was like San Diego Comic-Con mob. That's how many people were in this friggin' field in the middle of nowhere in the Pine Barrens. It was ridiculous. Everybody came out to this thing. The weather was really good. No wind, right, on the first day. sold a ton of books. We went out to dinner. Where'd we go? God, we went to Piccadilly Inn, which is, again, the most piney place you could possibly eat in the Pines. It's out on 206. And we had some chicken, and I had cheesesteaks. We had some wings, because you have to have wings when you go to Piccadilly. And my girlfriend's friends with the chef, so we got to hear a little bit about that. And then today we went, I didn't sell as many, but I sold pretty good amount of books. That was more like a regular day. The first day was like a super day. Then today was like a regular day at a big event. The Eagles game was on, so it was a little less. And then we went to dinner at La Campagnana, which is kind of out in the Pines, but it's an Italian place. It's really good. It's in Tabernacle near Nixon's General Store, which appears in Book 9 of the Pineys. But anyway, I had a great weekend, but I'm a little fried because I got up super early both days. I got up like at 6 today because I managed to actually sleep through the night because I was so tired from the previous day. But yesterday, I was burned. All right. So that was my weekend. Let's get into it. We got lots to talk about. Apparently, we have to look at a gala. And then we have to talk more about Tron ass. Tron arse. Because Indy Phantom decided to go see it. I can't believe he even decided to go see it, as bad as it was. Some people like to go see movies, so they feel they can't complain about them if they haven't seen them. I feel I can. And I'll tell you why. I don't care. If a movie's bad and reliable people say it's bad, I kind of believe it's bad. Yeah, I kind of believe it's bad. Now, there are exceptions. I mean, everybody liked Drag Me to Hell. I still don't like that movie, and I saw it. I'm kind of upset, actually, that I saw it and I paid for it. Not good. Not good. Definitely not a 93% or whatever it was on Rotten Tomatoes. I think it's still pretty high on the Rotten Tomatoes. It was like a Twilight Zone episode. Filbert Coffee Esquire. Some people like to hate watch, I suppose. Indy Phantom. I didn't see it. Oh, you didn't see it. Oh, I thought you did. Then you are like me. You are smart not to pay for that movie, because that sounds terrible. And I was on the fence. I thought, oh, the trailer does kind of look promising. It's not the worst concept in the world. But now that I've heard these reviews, oh, I'm not seeing that movie. I'm not paying for it. I might end up seeing it someday. Like, somebody will put it on. Like, what the hell is this? Oh, it's Tron Ares. It's so bad. You got to watch it. And then we'll make fun of it. But I hear it's bad. I find some critics are reliable. There's nothing wrong with that. You could say, that's probably a bad movie. Anyhow, Indy Phantom. I saw a promo of Leto. Why does Jared Leto bother to promote anything at this point? I mean, he'd be better off like, you don't have to tell anybody I'm in this movie. Like He-Man. He-Man was going to suck anyway, but with Jared Leto, I mean, how could it possibly be good at this point? Jared Leto is not Skeletor. Like, if you had gotten Terry Crews to be Skeletor, first off, Terry Crews is built like Skeletor. And, you'd put makeup on him. He's a big skull face. Who cares? But they're all like muscle heads. Like, if all you hired were muscle heads for that movie, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, right? He should be in it. All the muscle heads. What's his name? Dave Bautista when he was on the gear. John Cena. Hire them all. The movie's gonna suck anyway. Most likely it'll be stupid as F. I mean, how could it be good? What is it? It's a toy line. He rides a giant green tiger with orange and yellow stripes. Doesn't make any sense. He has a castle, and the castle has flying cars and ray guns, but they still use swords. One of the guys in Skeletor's crew, a couple of them have cybernetics. There's Lockjaw, Manny faces. And I think a guy has like a arm that does something. How do they have cybernetics? They live in castles. Indie Phantom. Viral vid of Leto surprising a near empty premiere. Oh, wow. That's bad. Why'd they even let him go in? They should have, like, his people should have scoped it out. Oh, dude, there's only 4 people in this theater. Don't go in there. Like, that's what they should have done. Wow. Why would you do that? Like, you couldn't fill up a theater? You couldn't let it leak that Jared Leto was going to appear there so a bunch of people would show up just to meet him? That, if you had done that in Philly and you had announced Jared Leto is going to appear at the screening tonight, or may appear, you don't even have to say it's definite. You could say Jared Leto may be appearing at the premiere of Tron Ares in Philadelphia. I promise you, the line would have been around the street. I worked on a production many moons ago, and there was a clubhouse or a nightclub scene, and the producer had his friend let him into this club, and we were going to shoot the scenes there. Now, it had no windows, so we could shoot in the middle of the day when the club was closed or whatever, but we had no security because our entire crew was made up of mostly college students. I was in the cast because I won't go into why, but I had to be in the cast. Like, there wasn't enough actors, and it was very low budget, so I was in the cast. So I was not going to do grunt work, and I couldn't. I had to be dressed and ready to. Well, I was a mute. I was Chicho, the mute from the old country, so I didn't have any lines, but I had to look good, so I couldn't like mess myself up moving equipment and, you know, wrangling people. Like, I had to be ready. So they decided to fill up the club. They announced on the radio, hey, does anybody want to be on the movie? They're shooting a movie at the nightclub downtown. They named it, I won't name the nightclub. Well, like hundreds of people showed up. Like, it was a circus. And we had no way to police them and had no security. We just they just let them all in. It was nuts. So if you said that, you would have had people stacked to the ceiling. Indie Phantom, people don't even stand. It's funny. Oh, it sounds sad. What is Jared Leto doing with his life? Like, if you told me after that Jared Leto quit show business and got a job in middle management and now he's happy, I'd be like, yeah, I could see him being happier than that now. It's weird, too, because he's not that bad of an actor. Like, I could see him in some roles. He seems to get cast, though, in roles that aren't quite on point for him. Like, his role in Blade Runner. Like, it just seemed odd to cast Jared Leto in the role of, like, I guess he was like some, genius who made synths or whatever. It just didn't seem like a good role for him. He doesn't seem like a scientist to me. And he didn't look like a scientist in the movie. He looked like just Jared Leto. He looks like if you cast him as a rock star, I'd be like, okay, yeah, I could see Jared Leto as a rock star. Even if he couldn't play instruments, you could dub that in later. If you cast him as Jesus, he kind of looks like Jesus. He's skinny, has long hair. And Tron Ares, no, it's kind of the wrong role. Like, he didn't look like a soldier. He should have looked like a soldier, right? Like, he's got maybe the build for it, but why'd they have a beard? What kind of computer program has facial hair? It doesn't make any sense. He should have just been clean shaven, buzz cut. Like, you probably wouldn't even recognize him. He'd be so generic looking, but still, that's the way the character should have looked. Maybe. I mean, I'm just assuming because he was a military program of some kind. It's weird. You know, maybe he could be a cowboy. I could see him maybe as a cowboy. You know, like a bad cowboy. Not like an incompetent one, but, you know, an evil one. Anyway, let's see if we can find this gala thing Filbert was talking about. Let's see. I'm going to check Variety here. I bet it's a, you know where I bet? New York Post. They usually have that kind of stuff. Oh, I guess they robbed the Louvre. Look at that. Robbers swiped millions of dollars worth of jewels in a 10-minute heist. At the Louvre? You'd think that place would be like Fort Knox. Wow. Let's see. Daily Mail, says Filbert. All right. Daily Mail. Top healthcare boss and her husband are charged for leaving 6-month-old alone on beach as bystanders are forced to save sleeping baby from hour-long nightmare. Whoa. Filbert, I gave you the link. He could, Indie Phantom, he could be Brokeback. Oh, you gave me the link? Where did you give it to me? In Twitter? Or in X? I don't see it here. Hold on. What was the thing called? Academy Museum Gala. All right, I'll just type it in. It'll come up. Where's the search on this thing? Academy Museum Gala Daily Mail. There we go. Okay, Academy Museum Gala, worst dressed stars, Kim Kardashian, Elle Fanning, Cara Delevingne, amongst the stars, fail to impress. As it plays a host to Hollywood A-listers from all over the world, the annual Academy of Museum Gala should be one of the year's greatest fashion events. But as they arrived at the star-studded 5th annual gala, 5th? So this is only 5 years old. Gala at the Ted Mann Theater in L.A. on Saturday night. Several stars failed to impress, despite a series of bold and striking looks. Okay. What the F is this? What the hell? Who is this? Oh, this is Kim Kardashian? She looks like she has 2 boobs. What the hell? Is she trying to put like quadruple boobage here? What is she doing? What the hell is this? This looks like a bad scene from like Dune or the remake of Total Recall, and they put 4 boobs. Filbert Coffee Esquire, great voiceover. Thank you. I took radio in college. That is weird. That is a weird look. Now, why did she think this was a good look? JC stole her ex's mask gimmick. Filbert, I like the head covering, though. She looks like she's being kidnapped. All right, and now, what the... My God! This is Elle Fanning. Elle Fanning, who's probably hot underneath all that. I don't know what this is. She looks like she's a were-muppet in mid-transformation. What the hell is this? Who wears this? I saw a dude today at the Cranberry Festival, and he was rocking the open colored t-shirt, right? Now this dude, probably my age or older, he still looked kind of cut. Like, I couldn't do that. I got a gut. He didn't really have a gut. He kind of had like, almost like the, the skinny meth guy body look to him. Not that I said he was doing meth or anything, but he had that kind of look. And he had like the one tattoo on his like left pec. And he looked better than Elle Fanning. He looked more fashionable because he looked cool. That's why it looked like the 70s down there. People were smoking. It was crazy. 100 times I'd rather be at the Cranberry Festival than this. What the hell is this? Filbert, Snow White meets a Muppet. Yeah. JC, she came straight from her other gig at Sesame Street on Ice. I don't have time to change. Elle, you still have the pants on. It's too late. I have to go inside. What? Why didn't somebody stop her? Why didn't one of her friends go, what are you doing? Probably she took some money. I mean, I think, isn't it true that celebrities take money to wear certain designers? Right? So imagine you're like, okay, I'll go to the gala. Whatever you pack for me, I'll wear. And then you open the package and it's like this. You might like, what the hell is this? I'm not wearing this. Oh, but you took the $40,000. Crap, I gotta go wear this. Filbert, she's pretty too. What a shame. Right, she's 27. Anybody who's 27, right, female, she's in her 20s. I mean, look at her haircut's even bad. I hate that pixie cut. There are very few women who could pull off a pixie cut. Very few. The only one who came close was Bridget Fonda back in the day. She kind of had and hers wasn't even a pixie cut. It was like a short bob. Oh man, she looked great, but Jesus. Imagine there's a hot bod underneath that and she puts that on. JEC. She mixed up her dress with an Elmo costume she got from niece's birthday party. Filbert, show some damn shin for crying out loud. Yeah, really. A couple of pair. Skin. You meant skin. Same deal. Yeah, like some, a nice pair of heels. You'd be like, oh, she's, at least if it was short, you'd be like, well, that's pretty stupid, but she's pretty hot. But like, what the? This is terrible. Boy, Filbert, you picked like the greatest link in the world. Thank you for this. All right. Is that it? Oh, wait. What? They just get worse. Is that Liv Tyler? No, Michelle Monaghan. Where are her hands? So, this looks like a parade float. It's just terrible. What is this? Is this part of the Hunger Games? Indie Phantom, Pixie Blows. Yeah, it's terrible haircut. You have to be like a 10. Like, you have to be hitting the ceiling of a 10 to even attempt to pull off a pixie cut. Because, like, your body's so smoking hot, you don't even care about the hair. Filbert, Coffee Esquire. The last one to pull off the pixie cut was Jean Seberg. I don't remember her. Looks like a pile of mold. I don't know what this is. It kind of is in the shape of a dress, but it looks like it would just fall to pieces. It looks like it was one kind of dress, and then she got dragged through dirt or something, and all the stuff is sticking to her, and she's just like, well, I have to go in. It's too late to change my dress. I have to go inside. This is terrible. All the people involved in fashion should be fired immediately. Well, that's slightly better. I mean, out of the 4, this is Kara, model Kara. I don't know her. Well, at least I could see a body going on. I mean, out of the 4, that's clearly the best one, but it's not great, I'll say. It's okay. It looks like a dress, at least. Should probably have a slit in it. I don't know what's going on with her neck. looks like somebody threw lettuce at her at the last minute, and she just walked in with it. You have lettuce on your neck, Kara. And she didn't bother to go, this lettuce. Filbert, tats ruin her. I don't mind those tats. They're okay. They're not too much. They're kind of, I don't like that they're so asymmetric though. You have them all on one arm. Like, you should have, maybe there's like one on the other arm. Feels like you should have symmetrical tattoos. And is one of those tattoos a guillotine? I think one of these tattoos is a guillotine. I can't zoom in. All right. Oh, I'm on a different thing. They look like barcodes, says Filbert. Yeah, like the Terminator. Remember, they tattooed barcodes on us. And that was Reese. Kyle Reese. He pulled down his sleeve and showed the barcodes. From behind, it's slightly better. I still can't tell what her tattoos are. Oh, she's got ones on the other arm. Oh, they're terrible. Okay, I'm now changing my judgment on her tattoos. They're too much. And they are terrible. Actress Naomi Watts. Still pretty bad. This still looks like half Muppet. This looks like an upside down version of the guys who go Boing! Those guys. Who puts this on and goes, "Ooh, this is nice"? I don't think there's any woman I know. Now, I'm not a fashion plate, as you probably have guessed, judging by how many stained t-shirts I've worn on this channel. Filbert, looks like a sheet on a clothesline. JC, wearing a deep sea squid. Yeah, it kind of looks squid-like. I bet that's what they were going for. But, like, I know enough women. I think most women would look at that and go, what the F is this? This doesn't look nice. Filbert, it shows off her curves. I think you're talking about the previous dress. This dress just looks like a tube. I don't get it. Oh, yeah, that's not helping. Her husband isn't helping. So far, the husband is the best dressed person there. That's a nice suit. All black with the black tie. It's a look, but not a look I would want, but... Filbert, sarcasm. Oh, okay. Honey, stand next to me and distract from the squid costume I'm wearing. All right, dear. Zoe Kravitz. Again, like, Zoe Kravitz is skinny as F. She's got a hot body. Like, I mean, this is, I don't know, what are you doing? Are you doing Gone with the Wind? But it's a dress, but I've seen women as hot as her should have worn something more revealing. JC, looks like a condom on an elderly man, white pubes. Yeah, it's the previous one. This one does really look like the Gone with the Wind dress. Because remember, Scarlett has to make a dress out of the curtains, I think, for some reason in the movie. This is what that reminds me of. Oh, here, it says that. Zoe Kravitz hid her fantastic figures in so many ruffles and puff fabrics that she was totally overwhelmed by her dress. Yeah, I agree with that assessment. Filbert, trying too hard to look classy. Yes. Yes. Like, if you put her in a black mini dress, there wouldn't have been a single guy looking at anybody else. She's still smoking hot. So, but I will say, at least it's a dress. This though is a dress for an older lady, right? You put an older lady in this dress, you know, not too old, but one that looks okay upstairs, we'll say. And yeah, it hides the rest. Maybe somebody who's a little heavy. Jenna Ortega, what is happening to her? She is being transformed into a mess. Her cheek operation, or whatever the hell that was, it's really disturbing to me. And this top is, what is it? It's like a leaf. It's like a giant leaf. Now that dress, though, the dress part, I mean, it's hot. I gotta say, that part of it's kind of hot because she is, I think she's like 20, right? She's pretty young. And she's, you know, she's in very good shape. She's at the prime sort of beauty mark in her life. But that top is like, come on, what are you doing here? That just looks weird. That is like, if you were doing a parody movie about Hollywood, Indie Phantom looking weird, yeah. If you were doing a parody movie about Hollywood, this is the kind of dress I would expect one of the characters to be in. Filbert, not too bad comparatively. Yeah, comparatively, like, this is like the top. I would say this is probably the second best, or maybe the third. It'd be the husband, that chick with the tattoos, and then this. I mean, she's really cute, but this doesn't do anything. Like, nobody should be wearing this dress. Like, back in the day, the only kind of person who would wear this dress would be like Grace Jones. Grace Jones would show up to an event like this and wear something totally insane. But it was Grace Jones, so everybody went, oh, that's pretty effing cool. She's crazy. Now they like all do it. You should have... now, again, she looks really hot, but her face looks weird now. Her face looks really weird. It looks older. That operation made her look older, in my view. Like, if she was in her 40s and had that operation, I would have been like, okay, she's getting old, she's getting on, and she's an actress, and she's trying to get another 5 years of her career. But her face looks odd. You know, for someone so young, she's got a smoking body. Like, but again, she is the it girl. She probably got paid money to wear this, I'm guessing. Oh my God. Hold the phone. JEC looks alien now. Filbert, praying mantis face. That's kind of a good, yeah, that's a good phrase for it. Praying mantis face, yeah, because that's the way praying mantis is. But look at this one, Indie Phantom, hot bod, yeah, she has a hot bod. So this is, I assume, paint, yes. Director Rebecca Hall, actor and director Rebecca Hall, wowed in paint effect corset dress. And I can't zoom in on this. So I think that's her actual boobs with paint on them. I think. But I'm not sure. I would have to zoom in. I assume that's what it is. They probably painted her with latex. They used to do this at Dragon Con. They had a guy who would paint hot topless girls with whatever they wanted or whatever he wanted to do. It was a whole thing, I assume, for him to get laid. And get to touch boobs of hot women. Filbert, is that art or pornography? It's desperation, I think. And she's got a good body too, but it's like, Filbert, I think that's a blouse. It might be, but I don't see the edges of the blouse, so I'm not sure. It says in a paint effect corset dress. I can't tell. Let's see if there's another angle with her. Yeah, you're right. Okay, now I see it. You can see the seam going up her arm. So it's like a sheer body thing. And I guess this is over top. But just the only parts that are covered up are right in the front. Now, this is weird. She kind of has the body for it, though. I don't know. I don't know if I mind this or not. Filbert, I think edges are transparent. Yeah, they're kind of, you could just, now that it's close up, I can kind of see it here. You could see the lines that go all the way up her arm. And then this portion, the whole drawn boobs picture is like, I don't think you could see through that. JC, someone's desperate for attention. Yeah, it feels like that too. But I'm a little torn because she kind of has the body for it. I don't know. I mean, if I was going to the event and she showed up with that and she was my date, I'd be like, what the F are you wearing? Put on a jacket. You're not wearing that. But, you know, if I was at the gala, I'd be like, ooh. I mean, it's still kind of stupid, but at least it's hot stupid. If that makes any sense. Man, these outfits are bizarre. Okay, this looks normal. Filbert, it's different anyway. Yeah. This is Kristen Wiig. JC, someone come get your aunt. She's drunk and pull her tits out again. So this is Kristen Wiig. Her face looks a little different in that picture too, but she looks normal. Now she looks underdressed for this, right? This looks like a dress, but not one you'd wear to a gala. Like, it looks like, I don't know. She looks like some middle-aged teacher from the 70s. That it looks like she just went, I'll just come in my regular clothes. What? This one doesn't look fancy enough for the gala. Filbert, this one wore 2 skirts. Yeah, it kind of looks that way. And something going on with her legs, too. JC, she looks like she's on a boat going down the Nile. Filbert, she wore a skirt and a dress. Oh, yeah, I can see that, yeah. But her legs don't look smooth. Did she not shave her legs? The comedian did not do the flowing gown justice on the red carpet. Is that an insult to her or the flowing gown? I don't get it. Okay. This is Mikey Madison, whose dress is see-through, which... Now, Mikey Madison, again, see Honora. If you want to see Mikey Madison naked through half the movie at least, and she looked great. See Honora. She's great in that movie. But, you know, it's no big deal to her, I guess. But she looks pretty naked in this. Like, I could pretty much see through everything. I guess they covered up her naughty bits. But she looks pretty naked. And might as well be in that see-through dress. I actually think she would look better if the bikini... I think she's wearing some kind of underwear, but I think she would look better if she had like a really small black bikini underneath that. But Indie Phantom hot, yeah. Mikey is super hot. JC wearing her grandmother's lacy tablecloth. Filbert, never heard of her. Oh, watch Nora. She's good in Nora. I like that movie. She plays a stripper who ends up marrying some kind of Russian oligarch's kid, and he makes a mess of it. And she's like naked through half that movie. Charlie staring gown. I mean, that looks like a normal dress. It kind of, though, looks like... The top of it kind of looks like lingerie, though. So it looks a little low cut and revealing for a dress, but that's... I'm not going to watch the video, but that's because there's probably music underneath. Oh, this is Charlie XCX. Lace and leather gown. Whew. These women want attention. Boy, they want attention. All right, here's another shot of it. Yeah, it's kind of see-through up top. JC, she show up with her name glued to her dress? I think this dress would have been better if it had just all been leather, quite frankly. That would have been kind of cool. It probably would have been hot as balls, but... Filbert, her boobs look less than perky. That is true. Yeah, and if it was made completely of leather, it probably would have been like... She probably would have been strapped in, and they probably would have been up. Again, she's pretty young, too, so there's no reason to look all saggy. JC, my evil stepmother. And I'll get your little dog, too, JC. Oh, that's kind of a good shot of her, but yeah, you're right about the boobs. You'd think the dress would lift and separate. But oh, I'm seeing nip, too. There's nip there. I better kind of click off of this. YouTube might flag me. Oh, well, I guess she's like that carrier in Mario. Remember the character in Mario who's up there on the cloud? He's got the fishing pole. I mean, she doesn't need that whole cloud thing. It's a perfectly fine dress for her. JC, yeah, she has pancake boobs. Yeah, that's XCX. Filbert, I think I see a nipple. Yeah, I think you did. I mean, this dress would be perfectly fine without that cloud thing going or whatever it is. I don't know who this is. Divine Joy Randolph. I don't know. But probably should have had more covering her up top, though. See, the outfit Zoe Kravitz was wearing would have been perfect for her. Because that would have covered up. I mean, I'm not trying to bash on her, but yeah, she should cover up more. And Zoe should cover up less. JC, she stole Bjork's swan dress, but it sat on the escape car and squished it. Sat on it in the escape car and squished it. Filbert, no cotton picking jokes. Oh, no, that's not right. That one we saw. That one we saw. And that's it, I think. Yeah. Phew. Oh, boy. What an adventure in horribleness that was. All right, so these are all the same pictures. That was crazy. That was crazy. A big hand for Filbert for suggesting that link. That's a link I don't think will get me in trouble with YouTube, but you never know. All right, let's get to the box office. Black Phone 2 is the winner at $26.5 million, which isn't great, but at least it's a horror movie. Filbert, good job, Tony. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, at least it's a horror movie. I'm not big on, like a lot of you guys, Ethan Hawke as the killer. I didn't realize he was the killer. And now, like, the first movie, he's sort of like a regular killer, and then he dies, and now he's like a supernatural one. I kind of don't like when they do that. Like, I mean, I guess there's, it could be good, but I would rather just, like, is the guy supernatural? Then, yeah, we should know it in the beginning. Not just suddenly go, oh, we got to make a sequel. Oh, well, it turns out he comes back to life. Oh, okay. But the first movie did well, so they wanted to do a sequel, and I don't know, that seems kind of low, though, but the big news, of course, is Tron Ares dropping 66% to 11.1 million. I'm surprised they didn't drop a lot more. It's at 102 million for 2 weeks, and it had a budget of $180 million. I don't think that's going to make its money back. That is no bueno. That means it has to make 360 plus 90, 450. There's no way it's going to make 450. There's no way. There's no way this makes 450. It's definitely not even going to crack 200. I don't think it'll crack. It may not crack 150. It may not make its budget back in the gross. I mean, it has to make like 360 million just to break even, on the budget, but and it's at 4,000 theaters. Doesn't matter, Disney. If you make garbage, no one will go to see it. And if you put it on more screens, it's more screens nobody goes to see. It's a shame. This movie could have been good. It wasn't the worst concept in the world. But Jared Leto may be the worst actor in the world. Is it raining outside? Oh, crap. I haven't unloaded the car yet. Oh, hold on. Let me see if it's raining. No, I'm not going to unload the car, but no, it's just windy. That's bad. The only movie, let's look at Jared Leto's career. Let's see where it all went wrong. Jared Leto. I guess the Dallas Buyers Club is the last good thing he was in. So I remember him in the Dallas Buyers Club. Because my friend, who is trans, I don't think she liked him in that. She was kind of mad. I thought he was fine. He was in Lord of War. That's an okay movie. That was before. All right. So let's say the Dallas Buyers Club is 2013. Let's go from there. Then he's in the Suicide Squad as the Joker. JC, winning the Oscar was the worst thing that ever happened to him. So he was in the Suicide Squad as the Joker, which everybody kind of hated that. He was in Blade Runner. That movie's god-awful, I think. And now I actually saw that movie. It's terrible. And he's terrible in it. Like, it's one thing to be in a terrible movie, but then if you're terrible in it, like Ana de Armas is in that, and she's fine. She's fine in the movie. She's hot. She is like peak Ana de Armas in that. But Jared Leto's in Blade Runner, and he's terrible. Clint Miller sucked as the Joker. Hi, Clint. Indie Phantom. Tron was never a franchise. It was a good video game. Yeah. The Little Things. I don't remember that. Zack Snyder's Justice League. House of Gucci. That might... No, that didn't get very good ratings here, but... I want to remember that the House of... But it's more of an ensemble piece. Then he was Morbius, and that really... Like, right then, I thought that was the end of his career because everybody was laughing at this movie. And then some TV miniseries, a music video. He's in the Haunted Mansion ride. And then Tron Ares. I mean... Indie Phantom. Apparently, Leto had some control of this for years. The Tron video game? Indie Phantom. Playing a trans didn't help. Yeah, it just... I don't know why they keep casting him. If anything, he should sort of disappear for a while and then come back in a movie looking nothing like Jared Leto. Something he could really act in with a character. Like, I write this stuff. Like, you can write a character that's super cool, that you know everybody's going to love, that doesn't get much screen time. It's like a perfect sort of character for a situation like his. It's like the Boba Fett effect, right? Like, everybody loves Boba Fett for some insane reason. He's barely in the movies. And then they ruined him, of course. Clint Miller, Tron Coffee. JC, he works as a handsome supporting character. He's not a leading man. Yeah, even just... I mean, where is he in that? Indie Phantom, Ares. Oh, Anna is a smoke show. Yes, she still is. She's still very hot. So I don't know. I would give him like a good secondary character. Oh, my mom is texting me. Somebody texted that she saw you on that TV and said you look great. So I just wanted to tell you it was on. I can't remember the name. Oh, it's a voicemail. A transcript of a voicemail. Can't remember the name of the show this minute, but you know, bye. These are the messages my mother leaves me. Oh, there was a thing you were in. I don't remember what it was or who said it or why it happened, but you know. And then she hangs up. So yeah, he would have to like come in as a supporting actor. Like, the Joker was kind of a supporting... I mean, he was really in an ensemble cast and a supporting actor. That should have been one of the roles that people went, oh, he was a great Joker. But, you know, he was coming off of Heath Ledger's Joker. That's a tough act to follow. And they really hated the design on him. Just hated it. JC, his backpack has jets. He bounty hunts for Jabba Hutt to finance his vet. You said Chip. To finance his vet. That's a great song. MC Chris Fett song. Yeah, he needs to disappear and then come back in a movie as a supporting guy that everybody likes, and then maybe he goes back to being supporting guy. I don't know. Like, he could play the handsome guy who's the rival of the main character, who's, you know, like the a-hole fiance of a girl who the main character's trying to win back, right? And then in the end, he, like, tries to foil the protagonist, and he gets exposed as a jerk, and then the girl leaves him and then goes back with the hero, and he hands up alone or whatever. Bradley Cooper did that in The Wedding Crashers, I think. I think that's was his character, or was he a brother? I forget. Or like the a-hole brother. JC, I didn't know if you knew that song. Best Boba Fett Fett media is that song. Um, all right. Good Fortune is number 3. Now, this movie, I'm cautiously optimistic about, but I haven't read any critics' reviews of it yet. Because, on the one hand, it's a comedy. And it's directed by Aziz Ansari, who I'm sort of rooting for because I think he got kind of screwed with a Me Too allegation that was pretty just blatantly false, in my opinion. And it kind of torpedoed his career, and now he's back with this movie, and he's funny. I think he's funny. So he's the star, but it's an ensemble cast, and it has Keanu Reeves in it, but it also has Seth Rogen in it, who I've soured on. So I don't know, but Seth Rogen kind of gets the short end of the stick in the movie as his character, so that might work for me. So I want to like this movie. Plus, it's from Lionsgate, and my 2 shares of Lionsgate is just kind of sitting there. Or did I get rid of it? No, I think I still have them. JC, I didn't know if you knew that song. Oh, I read that one already. So, Good Fortune did 6.2 million. JC, girl was just disgusted with herself that she kissed an Indian guy and Me Too'd the poor guy sad. Possibly. I don't know. But I know that she described the whole date, and at the end of the article, basically all the comments were, where's the part where he sexually harassed you? That's how innocent the date was, really. He was on a regular date, and I think he had dated her already a couple of times, and he was trying to make some moves on her. Like, if you're dating a guy and you don't want him to make moves on you, don't date him. Or tell him, like, I'm not interested. But if you're dating a guy and the guy makes moves on you, like, some women get insulted if you don't make moves on them. Like, dressed up. Why aren't you trying to, get with me? That's like 99% of the reason we go on dates. We'd all still be like hanging down by the river throwing rocks into the water if it wasn't for dating, ladies. So it's weird. It's weird. His whole Me Too, I think she just got caught up in it, or I don't know, wanted to make a name for herself maybe. But so I'm kind of rooting for this movie. So call me biased or whatever, but let's see how it's doing on Rotten Tomatoes. It's not a good metric, but let's see if it maybe it's getting some good reviews. All right, it's at 78. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. 78 and 79. So it might be okay. I mean, people like Keanu Reeves. And, it's an hour and a half. It's short, tight. Okay. I might see this thing. Number 4, dropping from 3, is, of course, One Battle After Another. And if I could find the article, someone posted, I think it was Gary at Neurotic, posted an article. Someone in one of the trades argued this isn't a left-wing movie, even though it clearly is a radical revolutionary who has gone underground and then years later has to come back out. So I'm not sure why you would write that article or who you're aiming at, especially if you put it in the trades, because I assume everybody in LA was just over the moon that the main character was a left-wing radical revolutionary, and that's why they even like it, because, you know, they're super left-wing out in Hollywood for the most part. But this movie made $4 million in its fourth week, which is still kind of high, but there's really nothing else to see. Now it's at 162. It cost 140. It really has to get to 280 to break even. I mean, it really needs to do, let's see, 280 plus another 70, so 350. It's not going to get anywhere near that. So they're saying it's going to lose $100 million. I think it might lose a little more than that, actually, the way it's dropping. I mean, at $4 million, maybe it makes another, I don't know, $4 million worldwide, let's say. And I don't even think it's going to get to 200 at this rate. So I think it's going to lose more like 150. But maybe they'll be cured of Paul Thomas Anderson forever. Dropping from 2 to 5 is Roofman. This is a romantic comedy starring Channing Tatum. JC. Leo plays a burned out loser who got cucked and raised another man's child. Seems pretty anti-left wing to me. It's not determined whether or not it's his child. But you have a point. Yeah, Roofman looks like your standard rom-com movie. Sort of a bad boy who falls in love, and Kirsten Dunst is the love interest, and wacky things happen. So it looks harmless, but it only made $16 million, and it cost, we don't know. I assume a movie like this has to cost $40 million at least. I mean, I can't imagine two big names. Oh, sorry, Kirsten Dunst is the, I always get those two confused. Channing Tatum, Kirsten Dunst. I don't remember. Oh, Peter Dinklage is in it too. Yeah, those cost money. JC, in your heart, you know it's Sean Penn's kid. Probably, yeah. So, Roofman probably is pretty watchable. I mean, it looks kind of watchable. I'd probably watch that with my girlfriend. I'd be okay with it. Has some mild laughs, and Peter Dinklage is kind of a comic foil, but I wouldn't go to the theaters for it. I'd watch it for free, but nah, wouldn't pay for it. It's on Paramount, so probably be on Paramount Plus. Number 6 is Truth and Treason from Angel Studios. What the hell is this? In its second weekend? No, first weekend. 2.7 million. Truth and Treason. It's a big war movie based on a true story. The film follows Helmuth Hubner, a heroic 16-year-old who fearlessly formed a resistance group with his friends Carl and Rudy after witnessing the arrest of his Jewish friend by the bad guys in Germany, in Hamburg, Germany. I wonder if they were connected to the White Rose. There was a German resistance group during the war called the White Rose, if you want to look it up. They were all deleted by the bad guys from Germany. I think they were pretty brave. They actually, not only did they execute them, they used the guillotine to do it. I believe, at least from one of them. I wonder if it's connected to that. It didn't say. I think it would have said if it was, but Number 7, dropping from 4, is Gabby's Dollhouse, made 1.6 million in its 4th week. Dropping from 5 to 8 is The Conjuring Last Rites, which I think I'm going to be watching in the next couple of days at some point. 1.57 million in its 7th week. Filbert, people had enough of this type of movie. Yeah, there's quite a few of them. I mean, you really have to dig deep for a new angle. There hasn't been, though, a tremendous amount of movies about the resistance of Germans to the rise of the bad guys from Germany. I keep saying that on YouTube because there's a weird algorithm thing with the bad guys from Germany word, which is stupid because it gives it a cachet it shouldn't have. But yeah, they make a lot of those movies and have. I think you need a different angle. So there hasn't been a lot of those movies. I think there's only one other movie I know of about the White Rose. I think it may even be called that. Maybe there's 2. So if you're going to make a movie about the bad guys from Germany, this is an angle that's a little more ripe than most of the other ones, which are pretty generic. But quite frankly, I kind of like some of the big war movies, because usually back in the day they were all focused on the Americans being heroic, and some of them were pretty cool. Filbert, Truth and Treason, I mean. Right. But yeah, it's kind of been done to death. It's kind of like, back in the 80s, they were giving us Vietnam movies to beat the band. So many Vietnam movies. And now, I couldn't even name you a recent Vietnam movie. So, it goes through phases. But with war movies, they tend to always go back to the bad guys from Germany. JC, it's called Chekhov's cucking. You don't introduce a bull in the first act unless he's going to impregnate the protagonist's love interest in the third act. Did you just make that up, or is that a real thing? That's pretty cool if you made that up. If you didn't make it up, then I don't know how I don't know about that. JC, I thought you were a screenwriter. Come on, don't even know about Chekhov's cucking. I have no idea. But that's a hilarious way to put it. Number 9 is After the Hunt. In its 2nd week, going way up because they didn't have it in any theaters. JC, yes, I made it up. Oh, okay, good. I figured you did. That's pretty good. Oh, this is that. This is a Me Too movie. Probably nobody wanted to see. Made 1.7. It's got Julia Roberts, Andrew Garfield in it. I mean, you'd think this would have gotten a little bit of traction with Andrew Garfield. He's a really good actor, but Julia Roberts, meh. I mean, back in the day, she was pretty smoking, but these days, meh. Number 11, drop it from 7, that Demon Slayer, Kimetsu no Yaiba, the movie, Infinity Castle, Part 7 of 14. It's anime. Please watch it. It's from Japan, and we hope you like it. Like, why don't you just put a whole paragraph in for the title of the movie? 1.3 million. My God, it's still making money. In its 6th week. It's crazy. Soul on Fire, dropping from 6 to 10 in its 2nd week, dropping 54%. That's not too good. I forget what this is about. Oh, yeah, it's like one of those inspirational movies. There's a lot of those coming out. They don't do super poorly, but they don't do super well. They kind of make like middling money and then disappear after about 3 or 4 weeks, I think. I don't think they make money overall, but they feel like they could if you made them on the cheap. Number 11 is Good Boy, dropping from 10. I really wanted this movie to do well. Yeah, it only did. Yeah, it looked like it only did 6.5 million. I definitely still want to see this though. I wonder if this was done in a low enough budget that could be money, but seems like no. I haven't heard great things about it, but I still kind of want to see it just because it's a different kind of movie. The Strangers, Chapter 2. I don't know why this movie's still hanging around. 420K in its fourth week. The Long Walk. Ha! $410,000 in its sixth week. The Smashing Machine, only in its third week. Wow. Going out of theaters. Boy, they pulled it from over 2,500 theaters. They have no confidence in this movie, I think. 329K. It's over. $15 million. This thing had to have cost $80 million. At least. I would think. You can't get The Rock to appear in a movie on cheap. Maybe you can now. Maybe him and Jared Leto should team up in a movie. You can call it a movie that made no money. Downton Abbey, still in theaters, 280K. The Bad Guys 2, Sam Rockwell's cartoon, 216K in its 12th week. If I had legs, I'd kick you. Second week, again, it's an art house movie. They shoved it into more theaters to make it look impressive, I think. Him, this horror sports movie, 141K in its fifth week. Casper, back in theaters, 140K. New movies. The Mastermind from Mubi, 104K. It's only in 5 theaters. Oh, I saw the trailer for this. This looks pretty good. It's about a guy who robs a... in 1970, an unemployed carpenter turned amateur art thief plans his first big heist. When things go haywire, his life unravels. Yeah, he pulls off a big heist and then, like, it ruins... He has to be a fugitive for the rest of his life, basically. It looks kind of good. It looks like the kind of movie they used to make all the time that would just be different. I don't know. I might see it. It was just an accident. This movie I want to see. 68K. It's only in 3 theaters. This is an Iranian movie. I'll read you the synopsis. Vahid, an unassuming mechanic, is suddenly reminded of his time in an Iranian prison when he has a chance encounter with Egbal, a man he strongly suspects to be his sadistic jailhouse captor. Panicked, Vahid rounds up a few of his fellow ex-prisoners and try to confirm Egbal's identity. But he also kidnaps him, at least in a part of the movie. Like, the scene I saw is he drives him out to the desert and he's about to kill him because he thinks he's the guy who tortured him. But the guy puts enough doubt in his mind. He says, "I'm not the guy. You got me confused with the wrong guy. Please don't kill me." So rather than let him go and rather than kill him, he keeps him kidnapped, and he's trying to contact other people who were his fellow prisoners during that time to see if they can confirm if it's the guy, because they were tortured by him too. So then they're trying to decide whether or not to kill this guy. It looks pretty awesome, I gotta say. I like the premise a lot, and I think I'm gonna see it. So, next chance I get, anyway. I still, a movie I promised to see, which I will see when I can find it somewhere, is Megalopolis. But I still haven't found it anywhere. And I'm not paying for it, so I'm looking for it for free. But, I mean, I may have to go to like a screening because I think Francis Ford Coppola might still own the rights to it or something. Next up is Blue Moon. Okay. So this is Ethan Hawke in a kind of a different role for him. He plays like a famous music writer, falls for some starlet. Looks kind of a cool role for him. But according to this, it's in 3,360 theaters. Is that correct? Yes. But it only made $63,000? That's horrific if true. That's absolutely horrific. $63,000 for a movie in that many theaters? That seems wrong. That seems like a misprint. I suppose it's possible, but if that's true, Sony's going to lose their GD pants on this movie. Because it might as well have made nothing. $63,000? This is a period piece. Now, it's probably not super expensive. I think it takes place mostly in a couple of inside locations, but I mean, Ethan Hawke is in it. I forget who the girl is. I think she's famous hottie. I want to say the chick from The Substance, Margaret Qualley. I think it might be her. And so I don't think the number of theaters could be right. Maybe I'm wrong, but my God, that is a worst showing for a movie ever I've ever seen here on this channel. If that's true, look, the average amount of money the movie brought in per theater is $19. Like literally 1.5 persons per theater saw this movie. That is the death knell of movies. If that number's true, like Sony lost their shirt and movies are dead in theaters. But I gotta think that's wrong. There's got to be enough theater majors that would have gone to see this thing, or at least enough Ethan Hawke fans. I mean, even Ethan Hawke has a few fans. There's got to be a few thousand Ethan Hawke fans that would have gone to see that. Next up is Orwell 2 + 2 = 5. $48,000 in its third week, putting it in more theaters. Freakier Friday still hanging on. 20,000. The Fantastic Four still hanging on. $19,000. The Man Who Saves the World? ? I don't know what this is. This is a new premiere. Resurrection: Indigenous Prophecies and Adventures Around the Globe. This is the story of Patrick McCullum, a spiritual leader and peace advocate. He finds himself at the very center of an ancient prophecy that could decide the fate of our planet. Pulled into McCullum's world, director Gabe Polsky brings us across continents on a spiritual journey in which the absurd and profound emerge. Nah, that doesn't sound good. It sounds like more of a documentary situation. What the... Oh, you're not going to believe the title of one that comes up soon. Then there's Re-Election. And it's second week, but they jammed it in more theaters. It's at $12,000. You can probably see the name of the next one. F My Son. What the hell is this? F My Son. There's no summary here. How did this movie even get on the list? Let's see if it's on the IMDb. Oh, there it is. JC, phrasing. A mother's manic quest pulls an unwitting bystander into a twisted, obscene ordeal that spirals into lunacy and terror. Director Todd Rohal co-writes it also with Johnny Ryan, Tipper Newton, Steve Little, and Robert Longstreet. This looks a bit crazy. And there's a dude in drag as the mother? What the heck is this movie? JC, maybe the guy's mother is trying to get him a date? Yeah, she's got a gun in the movie poster. It's very strange. JC, Johnny Ryan is the underground cartoonist? Let's see. Johnny Ryan was born in 1970. He is a writer and producer known for Looney Tunes cartoons, King Star King, and SpongeBob movie. So maybe he is. Is that him? He's definitely involved in cartooning. He also worked on The Day the Earth Blew Up, a Looney Tunes movie. That didn't do well. So he's been involved. Oh, he was on Mad TV. He was a writer for Mad TV. I might give this movie a chance. I'd like to know more about it, though. Let me see. It's comedy horror. Let me see if I can find some more info on this. All right, here's a Wikipedia entry. American comedy horror film, written and directed, blah, blah, blah. So Johnny Ryan, alternative comics creator. Yeah, I think he may be. He created Angry Youth Comics, published by Fantagraphics. Yeah, I think it's the same thing. The same guy. JC, I met him. A few months ago. It might be. Yeah, I think that's him. JC, yeah, I think that is the guy. I looked him up. Yep. So, an elderly woman kidnaps a young woman and her daughter for her mutant son to fornicate with. Okay, that's the premise of the movie. So, kidnaps a young woman and her daughter for her mutant son to fornicate with. Wow, that sounds crazy. The film is based on a comic by Johnny Ryan, inspired by John Waters and the works of Trauma and the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Longstreet portrayed Vermina in a cross-gender role. JC, his comics are very effed up. I showed a girl in college one of his Angry Youth comics, and she almost never spoke to me after. All right, sounds messed up. I would be open to seeing that, just because it sounds crazy and different. Although I'm not a huge fan of John Waters' movies. You know, they feel like, oh, I'm going to be effed up just to be effed up, but I'd give it a shot. Wildfire, The Legend of Cherokee Ghost, made $2,060,670. And Cat Video Fest 2025, it's still in theaters, everybody, made $440. And the only people in the theater were two old ladies who haven't can't figure out how to get the internet. So $64,664,237 this weekend. No bueno. Hollywood, no bueno. That was lower than last weekend. No one's going to see movies, and it's getting colder. Now, around here, alternatives to movies include going to the Eagles game or watching the Eagles. But then, you know, you got the rest of the weekend, so it's still nice weather here, too. So people are still going out. There were a million events. Now, I went to the Cranberry Fest, but I passed at least two events on the way out from the event I went to. And they had tents up and the whole thing, too. So there was stuff going, all kinds of crazy stuff. Man, I'm really worried that I effed up and double booked something, but I'm gonna make some calls tomorrow and figure it out. Anywho, let's move on to the trades. Okay, there's the Black Phone 2. Doesn't seem like 26.5 million is enough. Those ticket sales were enough to lead an otherwise sleepy weekend at the domestic box office. Yeah, it doesn't seem like it's enough. Oh, here it is. No, one battle after another is not a left-wing movie, says Owen Gleiberman. All right, let's read this. We got a lot of interesting articles this week. Let's hear his argument. It's no big shock to see that commenters on the right and far right. Oh wait, on the right, the far right, and the extreme alt-right. Oh, there's 3 layers now. I think that covers the waterfront. Oh, he's going to be snarky, everybody. It's no big shock to see that the commenters on the right, the far right, and the extreme alt-right, I think that covers the waterfront, from Ben Shapiro to film critic Armand White, have pronounced one battle after another, accusing it of being a left-wing, quote-unquote, movie made for left-wing elites sitting in their left-wing bubble. The forces on the right, led by President Trump, will now say that about almost anything. They treated yesterday's No Kings protest with its massive surge of outraged citizens as if it were some lunatic fringe collection of hippie terrorists. LeMay, hello. Welcome, LeMay. It was a tad more surprising to see the same criticism of one battle after another made by Bret Easton Ellis, who thinks that reviewers have hailed Paul Thomas Anderson's film and overpraised it, quote, because it really aligns with this kind of leftist sensibility. Ellis later added on his podcast, you have the left and the entertainment press propping this movie up to such an absurd degree that it felt unnatural. I consider myself a fan of Ellis. I was a guest on his podcast once and relished the independence of his voice. So the fact that he isn't wild about one battle after another is fine with me. Oh, thanks. I'm glad you're giving permissions for people to have opinions. I'm all for the debate, but I think that tagging the film with the leftist label feeds into the very same cliche mindset that Ellis thinks he's fighting. All right. Let's see. Once more, if you believe, as I do, that part of the power of one battle after another is that it is not, in fact, a left-wing movie, it's important to recognize how that misconception has been fed by a lot of people on the left. LeMay, white yuppies, welfare wards, and paid protesters. Yeah, I mean, like, once people uncovered that there were paid protesters at a lot of protests and that it was a big enough business that literally it was millions of dollars being poured to pay people to come to a protest, that kind of undermines pretty much every protest for me. Because now I have to look at every protest and go, how many people were paid? Were all of them paid? Is this a complete AstroTurf? You know, it's... And I see absolutely zero coverage of that in any of the mainstream press, and I wouldn't expect them to cover it ever. Unless it was, of course, a bunch of Trump protesters come out. Oh, then I think they'd be like, oh, wow, oh, we hear that they're being, some protesters are paid. The movie, which is set in an authoritarian America that resembles the one we could be heading toward. It anticipates what the country might start to look like if Trump invokes the Insurrection Act. I don't think that was it at all. It was based on a Thomas Pinchot book, and actually it's supposed to take place in the 80s, I believe. I thought it was going to be set in the 80s, but I believe they upgraded it so it'd be set in the modern day eventually. Is centered for a while on a ragtag band of revolutionary guerrillas. And since the movie is certainly on their side, I think a lot of the attitude of the entertainment media has been to reflexively treat one battle after another, as if the film itself were raising a revolutionary fist, and as if there was something left-wing about attacking authoritarianism. There is not. There's something very left-wing about doing it the way they attacked. Because, yeah, they're leftists. They're leftists in the movie. They're holding their fist up, in the leftist symbol, the Black Power symbol. Only Sean Penn. I mean, look, you can't say this isn't the protagonist isn't a left-wing radical. They're all left-wing radicals except Sean Penn. That's the whole point of the movie. Sean Penn's in the mix too, but he's obviously super right-wing and racist, and he, of course, works in some administration, which we all know which one it's probably implying. JEC, I went to the weekly lockdown protest. You're lucky to get 100 people to show up when the government is literally holding the entire populace hostage over a cold. Yeah, those people, the people who came out in Canada for the trucker protest, those people are protesters. The people who protested in Australia and basically got forcibly vaccinated, those people are protesters. People who risk something are protesters, 100%. These people risk nothing. And in fact, the No Kings protest, which I'm happy to talk about, I think it was mostly luxury beliefs. Most people were there to get a picture of themselves or a video, go into the protest to show everybody how they went to the protest. Cory Booker was there, and he went, he did some chant, something about, this is what, he said, this is what democracy looks like. And then he swung the camera over so other people could say it with him. Oh, yeah, that wasn't AstroTurf. He's a senator. So, yeah, I comparing this authoritarianism, okay, where's the evidence it's authoritarian to enforce the border or to enforce the laws that are already on the books? If it wasn't already legal to deport people, we'd be in the court right now trying to overturn the law to deport people. But it's already legal to deport people. It was illegal to let so many people in without vetting them. That is illegal. It is illegal to come into any country without any kind of paperwork or to let the country know you're there. It's illegal. It's illegal in every country in the world. But somehow, these people are on the right side of history every single time. It doesn't matter that they won't argue the points. It only matters that, well, see, it's authoritarianism. It's authoritarianism to have laws and to enforce them. Technically, that's authoritarian. So what? These people. Let me continue with the stupid article. This isn't merely a matter of semantics. In a strange way, the lionization of one battle after another. So you just admitted that they're lionizing it. As a cinematic manifesto, a movie that sees itself as part of the resistance and tips its hat to the glory of being radical has fed directly into the skewed right-wing view of this film. At times, it's almost as if the right and left agree on what OBAA is, a romantic salute to revolution. They just don't agree where they come down on it. It's left-wing because they're revolutionaries. Right-wingers, well, most of them don't call themselves revolutionaries. The ones that do are woke right, by the way. That's a new development. Usually people on the right, even if they're very authoritarian, will do something like start a new political party and try to get some votes. They believe in, most of the right-wingers believe in the system to a large degree. What left-wingers want to do is destroy the system because they blame everything on it. Every single thing. And, so that makes them left-wing. They want to destroy the system. Well, it makes them woke. There are some guys on the right who want to destroy the system too, but mostly it's a left-wing thing. LeMay, I saw an old couple acting out their bedroom fantasy at one of those protests. The old lady was dressed up as the Statue of Liberty and her husband was Trump as a gimp. Okay, yeah, it's just tiresome. The protests here are tiresome. I went to protest. I went to anti-war protest, and then I stopped going. Why did I stop going? Because I would go there, and socialists would commandeer the whole situation. And you'd be like, I'm here to protest the war. And the socialists would be like, yeah, we're here to bring down the regime. And I'd be like, well, I'm not here to bring down the regime per se, but I would like to stop the war. And they'd be like, yeah, we want free housing for everybody. I'm like, I definitely didn't say that. And they'd be handing out flyers, and I'd be like, this isn't the way to win this. Like, it's fine to unite with people with different views on a particular issue. In fact, that can be very effective. Right? I mean, you know about successful protest in the United States. But No Kings had no message. Like, No Kings, what is it? Did they want to impeach Trump? They already tried that. Did he break the law? They have dragged him in the court multiple times. The remedy for a president you don't like is impeachment. If you can't impeach him, he's there until the end, until he's done, until his term is over. The idea that these people are like, oh my God, he's going to be dictator for life. You said that the first term, and he did not get reelected. I'm just saying that for YouTube. JC, Karen Bass? JC, No Kings is such cringe, nothing concept. Yeah, it's like you're not even protesting a policy. You're just protesting Trump. You might as well just call it the No Trump protest. That's what it really is. It's not that Trump's a king. He's not a king. He's not a king. In order to king, a kingdom, he'd have to be imbued with divine monarchy. There would be literally no Congress. No Congress. He would literally be a monarch capable of doing anything, including rounding you all up and throwing you in jail forever, or just having you deleted. He's not doing that. He's not doing anything close to that. Thankfully, you actually peacefully protested this time, unlike what happened the last time in his first term. So I'll give you credit for not burning down the cities, although there were incidents, but there's always incidents when you get that many people involved. But MSNBC had to take down a video because it was from 2017 in Boston, showing a crowd that was clearly much bigger than the one they actually had in Boston, which was stupid because there were big crowds in some of the places. There were big crowds in New York and Chicago. Alex Ogle is here. Evening, bigots. As Joy Reid said, Gondor has no king. Gondor needs no king. That's true. That's true. Anyhow, let's finish this article. But see, that word, revolution, is more loaded than people think. And it's so left-wing that they might just be words, but they have helped create the lens through which one battle after another is being viewed. As someone who loved the film and found it to be a potent statement, but does not consider it a left-wing vision, I thought I would try to clarify what one battle after another should really escape that label, regardless of which side is doing the labeling. Here's why. Okay? And here he puts it in bold. The film borrows from the iconography, I'm saying that wrong, iconography of the late 60s, early 70s revolutionaries, quote unquote. And they were all left-wing too. They were definitely left-wing. 100%. But in that world, and the movies world, could not be more different. Again, it was based on a Thomas Pynchon novel that took place in the 80s. So most of the revolutionaries there were right off of that era. Now in the 80s, you started to get some right-wing revolutionaries. And they do exist, but you got slightly more of them in the 80s. LeMay, but I know he wanted to. In the film's opening section, the underground rebels known as the French 75 are characterized in a way that nods to the counterculture radicals of 55 years ago. One of the film's most indelible images of Perfida Beverly Hills, that's the female love interest, in her khakis and boots, an open plaid shirt and wool cap, firing a machine gun balanced on her pregnant belly. An image that looks like a Black Panther Symbionese Liberation Army fever dream. Yeah! The French 75 launched their insurgency acts, bombings, bank robberies, breaking into an immigration detention facility to free the prisoners with an overthrow the system bravado? No, it's bravura. That nods to an earlier time. That's more evidence it's left wing. Alex Ogle. Also, the lyrics to Living in the Past by Jethro Tull go, once I used to join in, every boy and girl was my friend. I'm trying to do Jethro Tull. I can kind of do it. Now this revolution, and they don't know what they're fighting for. I don't know the lyrics. I don't know the tune to that one. JC. The fact it's based off of Thomas Pinchot should be the tip-off. It's a pretentious, incomprehensible piece of S. JC. Bravado. Bravado? I don't think that's the word. It's Bravura. Bravara. Bravado is Bradavo. Bravado. All right, let's get to his point. But here's the difference. The Black Panthers fought for civil rights. Slow down. I don't think they were fighting for civil rights. I think they were fighting for black rights. The Black Panthers crossed some lines. I mean, yes, their civil rights was in there, but they had their own version of it. So I don't know if that would be totally accurate. The Black Panthers fought for civil rights, but by the late 60s and early 70s, many of the radicals of the counterculture had the stated goal of overthrowing, America. Yeah, that's left wing. Again, there are some righties right now that are talking about overthrowing America, but more like taking it over. They tend to lean into taking it over. At the time, this was regarded by the overwhelming majority of Americans, including liberals, as an extreme and even crackpot idea. But by the time of the rise of the Weather Underground, whose great achievement was accidentally blowing up a Greenwich Village townhouse, killing 3 of their own members, many of the radicals of the era were starting to look not just extreme, but scurrilous. Alex Ogle. It's 5/4 timing. Think the theme tune to Mission Impossible. All right. Once I used to join in, every boy and girl was my friend. Now there's revolution and they don't know what they're fighting for. Oh, that worked a lot better. Alex Ogle. Bravura. Showing off great technical skill in something or a great show of daring. Storbang is here. I learned a new word today. Yeah, this guy swallowed a thesaurus writing this article. That's a trick in freelancing, using a bunch of fancy words to make you sound smart, I think. LeMay. Yes, it's black rights. Their first leader did try to form an alliance with poor whites, and then feds and New York City police murdered him in his bed. Ooh. So why does I lost the voice now. So why does one battle after another pay homage to them? Because they possessed a militant impulse that struck a chord in the popular imagination. What? With who? Whose popular imagination? Yet the two situations could hardly be more different. I don't see the difference. At the end of the 60s, America was not an authoritarian regime. Oh, you sweet summer child. One battle after another, by contrast, takes place in a police state where the cops and the military have joined forces to patrol an autocratic society with basic rights stripped away. That is what the French 75 are rebelling against. Does that make them left-wing? No, it makes them freedom fighters who are trying to crack a fascist nation back open. If they're fascist, they're technically socialist anyway. But they would, if they're communist, they sounded pretty commie to me, because they're talking about revolution. I don't see them as freedom fighters. Because the freedom fighters called themselves the Sons of Liberty during the Revolutionary War. And they argued and used the legal means and exhausted it first before they started a war. I don't think these guys did that. I don't think you'll see that in the movie. And you already made the comparisons between the radicals of the 60s and 70s. And you're saying, oh yeah, they're like that. But again, it's Thomas Pinchot, and it was supposed to take place in the 80s. How could anyone think that film starts in 2008? The timeline of one battle after another might be a little confusing for several reasons. The film is loosely based on the Thomas Pinchot novel Vineland, which set in the Reagan's 80s. Anderson, looking ahead, the film was shot last year, reconfigured the book into a dystopian projection of what Trump regime might look like. But a host of progressive critics and writers obsessed with the idea that the movie's about what's going on right now, man, have stated that the heart of the action is set quite specifically in the present day. That would mean that the opening 45 minutes, which is set 16 years before, when the French 75 are going wild, would take place in 2008. But the vision of oppression the movie captures has nothing to do with the vibe of 2008, the start of the Obama era, and the power of OBAA is that it's not a literal vision of today. It's a spiritual projection of where we could land. So see how he did that? He's so left-wing, he felt the need to make sure Obama was clean. That's crazy. Alex Ogle. The writer comes across as leftist, but is actually just showing what Yuri Bezmenov warned about. The media won't become bad so much as they will become mediocre, and they will aim no higher. Indie Phantom. Yeah, the movie I Want to Go Away, PTA, messed up the dates. Alex Ogle. If the journalist media became better than they show... If the journalist media become better, then they show how bad everyone is, they will be clawed back down. The swallowing of a thesaurus is merely a ploy to make them seem less bad. Indie Phantom, French 75, LOL, JEC. Remember Occupy Wall Street? Oh yeah, good point. Indie Phantom, made for Kamala presidency. What a hack ball cleanser. Yeah, there were a couple movies made like that. Gosh, there's that movie. Wasn't there a movie with Viola Davis as the president? But she also served in like one of the wars in Iraq, and so then they try to kidnap her family, and then she's beating everybody up. What the hell was that movie? Let's see. Again in bold, the film's ragtag band of radicals are not glorified. I'm pretty sure they were glorified. I mean, I only saw a couple of scenes from the film. It looked, like you were glorifying radicalism. I mean, again, you described the pregnant woman with the AK firing, that's glorifying it. That absolutely 100% glorified it. And they're the heroes of the movie. But the biggest complaint, of course, for people who've actually watched the movie is that they don't like any of the characters in the film, which is a huge problem. On the contrary, they're shown to be deeply flawed. This, I think, gets to the heart of why Paul Thomas Anderson has made a movie about radicals that is not, in itself, a piece of firebrand radicalism. How imperfect are the French 75? In many ways, the film's key character is Perfidia Beverly Hills, who is portrayed as a ruthlessly charismatic rebel leader until she has her baby. The secret father is Sean Penn's ramrod rigid Colonel Lockjaw, at which point her lover and partner, Bob Herbert, Leonardo DiCaprio, says, "We're a family now. Our priorities have to pivot away from the revolution." Anderson, who has 4 children with Maya Rudolph, stages this moment with notable conviction. It's the first thing that makes us notice of DiCaprio's character as a morally complex being. But Perfidia is having none of it. She's placed by Lockjaw in the witness protection program and then hustles over to the border to Mexico, leaving the revolution, and more to the point, her child behind. The movie does not respect this. LeMay, G20XD. That was it. Indie Phantom. Hollywood is still making movies on journalists as heroes. Yes, Spielberg did that. Washington Post puff piece. I remember that. And Civil War had the female reporters basically shooting Trump's death. Yep, I remember that as well. Indie Phantom. PTA's film is deeply flawed. JEC. I think the fact that Paul Thomas Anderson is such a big Thomas Pynchon fan should tell you that everything you need to know why his career has been in such a creative decline. Indie Phantom. Give us Boogie Nights 2 with Penn as a long washed up porn star trying to live in a world that has forgotten him. Yeah, I mean, the thing about Boogie Nights is freaking hilarious. You know, during the shootout where the guys are just like running around like, oh my God. All right, I guess I'll finish this. Cut to 16 years later, the revolution is in tatters, and Bob is a stoner sitting around his bathrobe. He is still, in his way, a devoted father, but apart from that, he's blitz, navel-gazing and dissipated. This is not a revolutionary we can exactly salute. See, right there. Right there. He wants to salute the revolutionary. He wants to be a part of this. JC, do Boogie Nights with Marky Mark running around the Wonderland Massacre. What's more, the film's funniest jokes has been widely misinterpreted by the media progressives. When Bob calls the French 75 headquarters and keeps failing to remember the proper espionage code phrase, the answer to the question, what time is it? Many have interpreted this to simply be a sign of how fried his brain is. But that wouldn't be a funny joke. DiCaprio's acting in this section, his steam out the ears frustration at the fact the operator won't give him a pass on remembering the damn code is brilliant and puts the audience right on his side. The bureaucratic fussiness of the operator is clearly meant to be a satire of the doctrinaire left-wing rigidity. So you are saying it's left-wing. Make up your freaking mind. It is funny. It is funny. We laugh at stuff like that because it's not happening to us. And Leonardo is a good actor, so he sells it. So he actually sounds frustrated on the phone. But overall, it's kind of a stupid scene, which is why I thought the movie was a comedy and probably should have been. It could have worked as a comedy. Indie Phantom. Boogie Nights had great tunes and was just like a funnier take on Goodfellas style. JC, or Boogie Nights 2, where Marky Mark gets AIDS and dies like how the actual John Holmes ended up. Indie Phantom. Better yet, go away, PTA. After Licorice Pizza, I am done. The attack on OBBBA Look how long this article is. It goes on forever. The attack on OBAA for being left wing could almost be an early salvo in the Oscar race. You really should nominate movies that a lot of people saw and not ones that lost so much money, I think. Speaking of battles, the Academy Awards already look like they're shaping up to be a four-way war. One battle after another versus Hamnet, with Sinners and Marty Supreme coming up on the side. Attacking OBAA on the ideological grounds sounds like something right out of the anti-Green Book playbook. I don't think that's where the argument ultimately came from, but it's one that could easily be exploited by opposing forces. Who in Hollywood is right-wing enough to be upset by this? Who in Hollywood's going to be like, I'm not voting for that movie, it's too left-wing? What? You got Chris Pratt? I could count the names on the fingers of one hand, dude. It's the opposite. He made this movie because I think everybody in Hollywood's going to be like, oh, yeah, take that, Trump. Yeah, let's give him 10 Oscars. Can we make up extra Oscars for OBAA, as you call it? Sinners probably should get an Oscar for something. I mean, it was a pretty good movie. I don't know. It's got one really terrible scene in it, but the rest of the movie's okay. It's got some good music in it, maybe for music. And costuming was good. Hamnet I haven't seen. I don't know. It looks kind of boring and stupid. Marty Supreme could be good. I don't know. One battle after another? I don't know. People aren't even going to care. What is one battle after another actually about? Okay. Maybe you can get to your damn point. It's the authoritarianism, stupid. Wow. It's great. I'm reading the article and you're calling me dumb. If you scan the media coverage of it, you might think one battle after another was the story of a revolution. It is, sort of, but not really. I'm going to make a point, and then I'm going to say, that's not my point. I lost my place. For 45 minutes or so, it looks like that, but the guerrilla rebellion fails, and while Bob is helped out by Sensei Sergio St. Carlos, Benicio del Toro, the leader of an underground railroad for immigrants, the revolution comes down to a father rescuing his daughter. JC, real list of who? Whose list of movies in the race, the best picture of this year? I guess so. I guess he's assuming that's it. That's the emotionally powerful, but the portrayal of resistance is less potent than the film's portrayal of authoritarianism itself and how it directly connects with what's happening in America today. So it is left-wing. If you're connecting it directly what's happening in America today, you're obviously talking about Trump. You're obviously doing the immigration things. So who's on the opposite side of Trump? Left-wing people. And a handful of righties. The real revolution going on in this country is the Christian nationalist revolution. Yeah, they're trying. So far, they've been short-circuited, and Lindsay said the other day the Trump administration has been made very aware of the woke right and is looking to short-circuit them, which I was very happy to hear. Indy Phantom, John Voight, Vince Vaughn, James Woods, Mel Gibson, Chris Pratt, and Stallone will not vote for your propaganda. You can only depend on the other 35,000 sycophants. Yeah, that's how those numbers scan. LeMay, this sounds so cringy. The real revolution is going on in this country now is the Christian nationalist revolution, an attempt to upend the American dream and replace it with a theocracy. And the film dares to unveil that. It's a portrait of the Christmas adventures is a chilling vision. What? Its portrait of the Christmas adventures is a chilling vision of hate. What? Do you mean Christians? I don't even know what he's saying now. Its portrait of the Christmas adventurers is a chilling vision of hate? What? I don't get that. That's all the message the movie needs. That this is happening. And that right-wing revolution is on, and that there are people in America who still want to stop it. To suggest that portraying all that is left-wing, even if that side you think you're on is to play right into the propaganda. It's to win the battle of self-righteousness and lose the war. Whew. Indie Phantom. It's a warning against King bad guys from Germany. What a weird article. What a weird article. Like, if you were going to make this, what you could do, I mean, you could just not write the article. Let's start there. But I guess you could argue, I don't know, maybe he's clearly not a right-wing guy. Right-wing guys tend to be religious. They tend to follow the rules. That's kind of their whole deal. So, you know, this isn't a normal guy. And, like, you could have gone off the reservation with it and really portrayed America as a police state, which I don't think the movie does. I haven't heard that. Like, he's saying it's a police state, but I don't know. I think the book, Thomas Pinchot's probably interpretation of it would have been more of like, well, this is what I think a police state was, because there was a lot of talk of that back in 80s Reagan America. So, like, when I was in college, I met this dude with a mohawk, and he was once again, he was the second guy to do this. He came to my campus and talked about how incredibly non-political everybody on our campus was. And I was like, kind of like mildly interested in it. He seemed like an interesting guy, not just because he had the mohawk, but a friend of mine knew him. And he was just talking about how, like, you know, people on in my campus, they were all rich kids from Long Island and me and a handful of my friends. And, you know, there was never a protest on my campus. Kurt Vonnegut came my freshman year and noted that too. And the next day there was a protest against South Africa because they were, you know, in apartheid. And then that was the only protest that was on my campus the 4 years I was there. So that's how little most of the college students cared about politics on my campus. And, but he was saying on other campuses, oh my God, there's so much going on. Like, why don't you guys protest and stuff? So I just find it funny. Indie Phantom. Good news is they lost $100 million. I think they lost more and will lose more. Indie Phantom. Jesus, Law and Order SVU is in its 27th season. Yes, it is. Indie Phantom. Mohawks in 2025 are cringe. Aging punks are cringe. Well, this would have been 84 when they were still cool. Yeah, all right. So, going back to the other headlines, Trump trolled everybody with this video, if you haven't seen it. It's him flying a jet, and you can see he's got the mask on and everything. He's wearing a crown, and he flies over the No Kings protest, and he dumps poo on all the protesters, including a couple of known ones on the internet. So it's all AI video. So if you want to see that, oh, here it is. No, that's not it. I guess they didn't put a link to it. They put stills, but you can find it. It's kind of everywhere now. Sabrina Carpenter jokes about provocative image in SNL monologue. I'm not just horny, I'm also turned on and sexually charged. Hilarious. Indie Phantom. We had one punk in our high school. Her name was Happy, and she was always mad. Let's see. A House of Dynamite is a fear-stoking nuclear exploitation film? Why? Because the movie makes almost no sense. Okay. Let's see. Is this the same one? Is this another one about Trump? Donald Trump celebrates today's Yes King March on SNL. People are marching because I freed liar George Santos from prison. That was another SNL sketch, everybody. Yeah, let's do another 10 articles on SNL sketches. Jesus, every Sunday. Here's a bit of good news. Paramount Skydance mass layoffs to start week of October 27th. So there's that. Probably my stock price will go up. I think I still have 2 shares. This is not financial advice. Ralph Fiennes is in another indie film. Indie Phantom. SNL is so relevant. Yeah, right? I know the kids today, they really love the SNL. They're constantly talking about it in school. That's probably where 6-7 came from. They'll be doing a 6-7 sketch on SNL like 5 years from now. Let's see. Robert De Niro says we can't let up the fight against Trump because he does not want to leave the White House. There's no other way to face a bully. Why don't you wait until his term's up before you conclude? I mean, not that I want this, but like Trump is up there, you know. He could have a medical issue before he gets to the end of his term. He's not running again. He's just not. He's too old. He's not going to do it. He's just not going to do it. It's just not going to happen. I don't think he wants to be president for a 3rd term, quite frankly. I think he's minting his successor, and it's probably going to be J.D. Vance. And Vance, I think, is doing very well for a vice president. He's got his own memes, and they're very positive. Gavin Newsom has tried to make them a negative, and you want to talk about a guy who's failed at every post he's ever made on X. Gavin Newsom. His team is the worst. Every meme they come up with, J.D. Vance just makes them look slightly more cooler, or them very, very stupid. Indie Phantom. De Niro is a fighter. He is a raging bullshit personified. Yeah, he really hates Trump. Like, he's so old, though, to be doing this. Like, imagine being in your 80s and saying to yourself, you know, and being as rich as him. Imagine being that old and being that rich and saying to yourself, you know what I got to do? I got to give another interview about Trump and then, I don't know, maybe go on some talk shows about it. It's like, dude, just be in movies. Or don't. I mean, you're in your 80s. Like, go to the French Riviera with your young wife and relax. Raise your kid. He's got a kid, by the way. I think he's like 2 now. What else? Okay, that's about it. All right, moving on to Fandom Pulse. Bad Wolf producer fires back at writer who declared Doctor Who dead, calling him really rude. Well, that's a very mild comeback. Indie Phantom. Heard De Niro's son lost a bunch of real estate to Trump. Oh, maybe that's why he hates him. I didn't hear that. Interesting. Oh, wow. That would make so much sense. That is part of the feud. Oh, wow. Huh. Very interesting. Huh. I wonder why you don't hear more of that. JC, burn! Yeah, it's such a... That to me is like, you know, such an English comeback. Oh, I say, that's really rude. Sorry, didn't mean to say anything untoward, but seriously, it's very rude. This show is the gayest thing I've ever seen. I mean, I haven't seen gay porn, but I can't imagine it being much gayer than the Doctor Who that was out recently. I'm not going to watch that, but I can't imagine it was much gayer. Let's see. Streamer Emiru's assaulted at TwitchCon. There's a TwitchCon? After convention banned her favorite security guard. Well, that seems really rude. Sorry to hear that. Why would they ban her security guard? Wouldn't they give her another security guard? Indie Phantom, The View qualifies as gay prawn. Vampire Survivors proves authentic creators can replace AAA publishers. Okay. Good for you if you're doing a game and it's working. Never heard of it, but I'll keep an eye out. Netflix begins filming the feminist version of Alexander Dumas' The Count of Monte Cristo. Okay. That sounds terrible. Won't see it. I mean, who wants to see it? Who is it even made for? What was the meeting? All right. We need some new material for Netflix. So people subscribe to our platform, which is full of mostly crap. What do we got? Well, I'd like to pitch, and stick with me, a feminist inversion of the Count of Monte Cristo. The Countess of Monte Cristo. Exactly. I feel just dumber just hearing your suggestion. Should have been the actual response. And apparently they greenlit it. Was there just a bunch of women huffing, I don't know, industrial solvents at this meeting? What are you doing? What are you doing? Who is the audience for a feminist version of the Count of Monte Cristo? Who? Who is it for? Name one person that wants to see this thing. Indie Phantom, looking at the pictures from this 2021 horror flick called The Resort, the chicks look hot in only 77 minutes. Great runtime. That is a great runtime. I love it. LeMay, I heard of that. Her old guard stopped a guy from assaulting her. The con banned him for touching the perp and claimed that they will give her security next time. Then she got assaulted. That's terrible. That is terrible. Circling back to that streamer. She should sue the bejeebus out of him. LeMay, the perp got away. She's planning to press charges and is thinking about suing Twitch. She should sue Twitch. She should definitely sue the con. 100% she should sue the con. Indie Phantom, stop remaking the Count of Monte Cristo. I mean, you could make it. Like, if you're going to make it, who's the audience? JC, it's told through the perspective of the woman who cucked the Count and ran off with the other guy while he's being imprisoned for 20 years? I don't know. Whatever it is, it's a dumb idea. Because nobody... Look, the Count of Monte Cristo is a classic. We all know it's a classic. You could take any classic and do the same thing to it and ruin it just like this, right? You're not getting anything. Like, nobody's sitting around going, well, I want to see the Count of Monte Cristo again, but I wish they'd do something new, like make it a feminist version. Like, no one wants to see that. Nobody's sitting around and go, you know what? I really love, Christmas Carol with Scrooge. They haven't made a feminist version of it. Like, nobody wants that. It wouldn't make any sense. This isn't going to make any sense. Who is it for? People who want to see the classics are usually, they're either going to be shown to schools, right? If it's a classic, and I bet they show this in school. I bet some feminist teacher shows this to her class. But if it's on Netflix, it's just going to be people who like the classics. That's it. That's the entire audience, and that is a very tiny slice of the pie these days. Now, if you had a big star, right? If you had like the biggest star in the world, maybe you get some eyeballs on it because it's a classic. I want to see how Johnny Depp does the Count of Monte Cristo. Like, that would be a guy I would put in that role. Johnny Depp. I like Johnny Depp. He's a really good actor. maybe he'd knock this out of the park, being the Count of Monte Cristo. Maybe he'd give an amazing performance. Same thing with Leonardo DiCaprio, right? They're big stars. They're amazing actors. You put them in a role like that, and it just blows it off the screen. At the very least, if you were going to do a feminist version of it, you'd have to get the greatest female actress who ever lived. I don't know. Who would that be now? I mean, Meryl Streep is kind of too old for it. Sigourney Weaver, she's kind of old too. But maybe? I don't know. I can't even think of a female actress who would be... I mean, maybe you could make, a really sexy version of the Countess of Monte Cristo. Put Ana de Armas in it. Maybe you get some eyeballs on it, but it's for no one. It's literally for no one. The moment you announce the feminist version of the Count of Monte Cristo, the only people who could even think about watching it would be feminists. That's it. That's the entire list of people. So, out of the feminist pool, and how many people are that, most of them aren't going to watch it because most women have like 1 foot in feminism and 1 foot out, especially these days since it's gone so far off the rails. But it's not an indication of a quality of the movie either way you slice it. And it's not like it's a role that if you switched it to a woman, you'd be like, oh, wow, we really showed the men. Like if you did, I don't know, a female version of Citizen Kane. And it was like the woman, super successful. Maybe, I guess you'd be showing successful women at least. With the Count of Monte Cristo, the Count spends all the time on the island. Mostly. And then goes back and, this is such a dumb thing. JC, it's told through the perspective of the woman who... Oh, no, I read that one. JC, they should make a Christmas Carol where an old feminist hag is shown by 3 ghosts how the feminist views chased everyone she ever loved away and how she's now sad and alone. Yeah, you could do it that way. But that wouldn't be the feminist version. That wouldn't be a pro-feminist version. That would be an anti-feminist version. The pro-feminist... What would be the pro-feminist version? If you're not more feminist and you don't drive more people away to build up your career, then... Indie Phantom, I watched Poison Ivy 2 again to see when Alyssa Milano got her implants. Lots of stupid Southern California art fashions, but she was hot at AF as naked. Alex Ogle, Sydney Sweeney in a bikini. Yeah, I'd almost watch that. Indie Phantom, long before TDS ruined her. Funny thing is, she was wrecked in the film by her older prof named Donald. Storebang, they should cast Rosie O'Donnell. That I would definitely say. Alex Ogle, at Storebang, she can be in the feminist retelling of The Man in the Iron Mask. JC, those hoes need a wake-up call. It's just nuts. Netflix, I guess Netflix wants to start losing money now. Leftist influencers humiliated after accusing original D&D creator Robert J. Kuntz and Call of Cthulhu Sandy Peterson of never playing TTRPGs. So, if you didn't see this image and how they were making fun of it, this is the image they posted. Oh, there you go. This is the image they posted on X. I think it was from the official account of Dungeons & Dragons for Coming Out Day, like National Coming Out Day. So this is like gay D&D. I don't know if you can see all the images on the right, but up in the right-hand corner, there's the showgirl. The showgirl character here, they actually made and announced this also on X, that the showgirl was like a new character class in D&D. And I don't know if you guys ever played D&D. I was a huge D&D guy back in the day. But like Showgirl, like I don't know even what it is. I don't even know how it would even work in Dungeons and Dragons, or how you would have enough powers to, like, I don't know, fight the monsters. I don't even think you could fight the monsters with the powers of a showgirl. I guess it's some sort of female bard, but what the hell could she even do against a monster that just wanted to eat her? It doesn't make any sense. But then there's all sorts of gay characters. There's like 2 older lesbians in the right-hand corner. I guess they're supposed to be lesbian dwarves. There's 2 gay guys in the middle, although I don't even know if it's gay. If one guy has horns, it looks like interspecies stuff. JC, not even a finished drawing someone scribbled on their iPad. It's like making Wench a character class. Yeah. There's also a Beholder. That's the thing with all the eyes on the left. Now, the Beholders is one of the most vicious creatures in D&D. But this one is supposed to be some sort of, like, party beholder that's nice to people. And so, like, the entire image is just so dumb and stupid and gay that, you know, it completely undermines the game. I don't know who would play this game or what kind of fantasy you have to play it. And then they have dragons dancing and singing. Everybody's dancing and singing, because as if being gay is the most 100% important thing that must be promoted constantly in any woke company, relentlessly, no matter what. Like, if you make little screws, you have to somehow promote gay people. Somehow. In your literature, in your commercials, you somehow have to work a gay couple in it just so you can promote your screws. This is D&D. Like, D&D has nothing to do with sexuality. Virtually none of it. I had a friend way back in the day, and this was like early 80s. He had a bard, and his name was the F word for gay people. And he just played that bard all the time. And he had a funny picture for him, but yeah, I can't say the word on the live stream, but it's just so crazy. Like how they've sexualized and effed up everything they touch, the woke. Alex Ogle, it's only a matter of time before D&D introduces sex worker character. I wouldn't be surprised. Indie Phantom, I played D&D and picked up chicks in the game often. We played pervy. I was lawful horny. Ha! LeMay, weird. I only played one RPG game that had a dancer class, but at least they had swords. Indie Phantom, everything is gay ass. Yeah, it's just so weird. You know, because D&D, first off, it was, again, mostly guys. This is another feminization of a guy's hobby. Did we have girls play D&D with us? Yeah, a couple of times. But they were way in the minority. Like, we'd have, once in a while, one girl would play D&D in our group. Maybe 2 if it was, like, at school. Like, we played D&D at school in our off time. And so sometimes some of the girls would play. But it wasn't like, and that was, like, junior high. By the time you got this, you know, older, girls didn't want to do this stuff unless they were, like, into the guy. They were dating a guy. Maybe they'd play then. But, and I know a lot of women who were my age who played D&D. I met in college. Like, some of them did play D&D all the way to, like, college age. And they would have hated this, too. They would have absolutely hated this. They would have been like, how am I going to... I dated a girl who was the second highest ranked player of D&D for the year I dated her. And she would have, like, laughed at this. She would have absolutely laughed at this. Like, I you know, she had a kick-ass character. She had a kick-ass female paladin. She was like some kind of crazy, her character was some sort of crazy, like, crusading female. And she was absolutely committed to her character when she played, too. But this is like, what are you doing? Like, if you want to go out at a bar and drink and be gay, like, you don't need D&D to do that. You can just go do it. Like, this is like incorporating things in the game that nobody wants to do in the game. Like, what you wanted to do in the game was, you know, save princesses and slay monsters, gain treasure. Usually you wanted to just gain treasure and magic items. That was most characters. It would just degenerate into like, how much gold does this idiot have? I'll kill him. Not this. All this other stuff, like Storebang. I think the turd burglar would be an interesting archetype for D&D. Alex Ogle, it's still not as gay as the cartoon Dungeons and Dragons with its pre-woke positioning. I didn't mind that show. It was fun. At least it was a little... I mean, they had different character classes. I know they had, like, it was a rainbow connection in that, but I was okay with it. Indie Phantom. A fun RPG was Gangbusters. I remember that, about speakeasies and gangsters in the 30s. It was a TSR game in the 80s. I 100% remember that one. I never played it, though. But I remember seeing the ads for it at the time. I was big on D&D, Gamma World, which I could almost never get a game of Gamma World up. Short time I ran a campaign. But I loved Gamma World. God, that game has such potential. Why they didn't adopt every Mad Max thing they possibly could for that game, I'll never understand. I'll never understand. I was trying to figure out the rules for like cars and stuff like that, so it could be more like Mad Max. But that was a great game. There was also Boot Hill, which was Western stuff, and then Top Secret. Boot Hill had an amazing list for guns. It had you could pinpoint the year of your campaign. So if you said, okay, the campaign takes place in 1883, you would know from the list exactly what guns were available and when they were invented. So if there was a gun that wasn't invented to 1887, you couldn't buy it because it had that much detail in the game. And then Top Secret was just spies. That actually was the one game I played that didn't really work. The spy thing just didn't work because you couldn't play as a group really with the spy stuff. It kind of didn't work. Alex Ogle, gay and puts the brakes on. So yeah, this got roasted on the internet. People took it and made it into a moving image, and like a demon rose up and killed everybody, and then a group of space marines landed on everybody and then came out and started shooting. It was a whole... You can look them up on X if you want. Some of them were kind of funny. But like, who is the game aimed at? Like, who plays D&D like that? Again, like, it's not even that popular a game anymore. When I was playing it, there was still this idea that, there were no video games except in an arcade. So the pencil and paper games were kind of a way to play the stuff that now you can play on a video game console or on a PC. And they do have D&D sessions that you can play on your PC live with your friends, like all over the world if you want to. I haven't done it, but I've heard people, and they say it's pretty decent. LeMay, they're trying to get Swifties. They won't play the game. Or if they play it, they'll play it once, they'll get bored, and they'll go off to the Taylor Swift concert, or they'll go date guys. That tends to be the priority of most women. When they get old enough, they tend to want relationships. And there's nothing wrong with that, but it kind of changes their whole perspective on what they do. But guys the same age, they're not quite thinking of dating yet, which is why a lot of girls move up to the next sort of tier of guys who are older. Some of those guys are trying to date, but they're all frustrated and they don't know what to do. But the girls, they're like on it because that's their priority and they're constantly learning stuff. So by the time they're like in high school, they're like, they're dating guys in college and they're all about their relationship. They don't have time to do this. D&D takes forever, by the way, if you've never played it. You got to be into it to play. The math on doing the experience points could take an hour. I mean, they've streamlined it, but back in the day, oh my God, it took forever. It took forever. Me and my friends sometimes would just say to the DM, all right, we're gonna go to the other room and watch TV while you do the experience points. or we'd go have lunch, or he's doing all the math with a calculator. I mean, Swifties, I can't even imagine Swifties would be interested. For what? Oh, I just made a showgirl. I made a showgirl too. Oh, we all made showgirls. All right, what's the adventure? There's a bunch of orcs coming at you. Oh, great. We'll put on a show for them. Well, they have swords and they look pretty mean. Well, we keep dancing. Well, you're brutally murdered. Okay, start a new character. What? I would love to DM now. Oh my god. If I DM the kind of people who would play D&D now, they'd have a heart attack. Half the time I was making up my own rules because my rules were more fun. The other half of the time, I used to have all sorts of customized rules. They had LeMay's laughing. They had a critical hit chart. This changed D&D forever if you remember ever playing. They had a critical hit chart, right? So normally in the game, you have hit points. You get hit by a sword. It does 1 to 8 points of damage, right? So like say your character's got, I don't know, 12 hit points. You would roll an 8-sided die, 1 to 8, to see how many points of damage if he got hit by a longsword. So when you got up a few levels, you might have like 42 hit points, let's say, if you were a fighter. And at that point, you probably had better armor, you had a few magic weapons. And if you were the DM, it was really hard to start killing characters as they got more powerful. So they introduced this concept of the critical hit chart. Now, the critical hit chart was basically if you got hit with a natural 20 because you rolled a D20, a 20-sided die to try to hit a character. So if you got hit with a 20, there was a chance you would get a critical wound. A wound that was much more severe than just the regular, well, we're going to take some points off your character and then you're fine. So, like, you could lose an arm or a leg, or you could even lose your head. Or you could get a wound that starts bleeding every round, and so now you're fighting and you're bleeding out as you're fighting. And that sort of changed the game, and it got super vicious after that. And then we had to sort of roll back the critical wound chart because we kept killing all the characters off. But it's stuff like that that made the game really fun. But man, these people would have a heart attack. Oh my god, critical wound. You lost 2 fingers. Well, you lost 2 points of dexterity. What? I'm a showgirl. I can't dance without my dexterity. Well, there's the rules. I need to get my fingers back. All right, moving on. Jeremy Strong says Jesse Eisenberg's version of Mark Zuckerberg has nothing to do with what I'm going to do in Social Network sequel. I don't care. I don't want to see this. What is this going to be? Is this going to be to rehabilitate Mark Zuckerberg's, I don't know, not career, but his image? Why are they even making this? Like, you're doing a sequel. The whole point of the first movie was how Facebook was created. Like, that, to me, was, like, kind of the point of the movie. The only reason I saw it was like, oh, that's kind of interesting. I didn't know how it was created or all the intrigue behind it. Now you're going to do another movie? Are you going to completely whitewash Zuckerberg? I bet, yeah, I'm leaning towards that's what it's going to be, but who knows? Or maybe go the other way. They're trying to destroy him. I don't know. Indie Phantom, Social Network sequel? Yeah. Yeah. Alex Ogle, the android needs to be made to look more human. Maybe. Let's see. Brandy explains why she abruptly left the stage during a concert with Monica. I just realized my music is terrible. And she left. I don't know. It would be pretty funny. Indie Phantom, it could be a TDS sequel. Perhaps. A bunch of BS on these headlines. Oh, here's another article on the Star-Studded Academy Museum Gala honoring Bruce Springsteen. Oh. And Bowen Yang? You're honoring Bowen Yang? Why? Raised over $12 million. But yeah, it had some terrible fashion. Well, there's Kirsten Dunst. Oh, she looks good. That's kind of a dopey looking dress, but better than the other ones we looked at. Oh, there's the squid dress. And Penelope Cruz. That's a normal dress. She's a little thick, but that's okay. Alex Ogle. What's this Bruce Springsteen movie I have been hearing about? It's not a biopic. It's about Bruce Springsteen right before he became famous. And I think the album he made during that time, the one that sort of put him over the top. There's a creepy mask thing. There's Selena Gomez. Oh, excuse me. Selena Gomez wearing something. Now, most of these dresses seem relatively normal. They must have really... the Daily Mail is a bunch of jealous bees. They're really digging down deep. I don't know who that woman is. Awa Edebiri? Okay. Alex Ogle. Evan Sayet wrote Kindergartner of the Eden about the permanently infantile's minds of liberals. He is excoriating about Springsteen in it. Yeah, it seems that way. Here's Maud Apatow. I think that's the daughter of Judd. And Jacob Elordi. Okay, she seems to have a normal dress on. That's a normal dress. Avu Duvarney. I guess these are all the normally dressed people that the Daily Mail skipped out on. Let's see. Olivia Rodrigo. She looks great. That's kind of a hot outfit. Olivia Rodrigo. And Macaulay Culkin with Brenda Song. She's pretty cute too. Again, perfectly nice dresses. These are the kind of dresses I would expect at these events. All right, that's it. Infantilized, thank you. Rendered as an infant. Yeah, there's a lot of that going on. I was trying to explain furries to my girlfriend. She didn't quite get the concept, but that's part of the concept, I think, with furries. They infantilize themselves to a large degree. Bounding in the comics. Anything here? Batgirl actor Jacob Scipio says shelved project was a phenomenal film that the world never got to see. I guess you would say that. Indie Phantom. Disney adults are furries. Yeah, they sure seem like it. DC could have been built by Grant Morrison instead of... Or DCU could have been built by Grant Morrison instead of Tom King. But James Gunn didn't offer anything to write. That would have been great. Grant Morrison writing the DCU? Oh, that would have been awesome. Alex Ogle, you need to sell Little Joan furry costumes. They come with a voice box over her most objectionable jokes. Flash director defends DCEU disaster. People don't see things they like, talk S, and jump on bandwagon. God, that still looks terrible. I don't even know what that is. Does that happen in the movie? Does he turn into Batman for a second? All right, moving on to Deadline. Fran Drescher reflects on poor business model that led to early cancellation of Happily Divorced. I was proved correct. Okay. More on De Niro. Yeah, really nothing going on here. Oh, Deborah Harry. Debbie Harry wants Florence Pugh, who? To play her in biopic. I Would Be in Heaven. Yeah, I could see that. I could see that. They kind of got a similar look. Yeah. Okay. Sure. Give Florence something to do. Saturday Night Live lets Sabrina Carpenter's F-bombs air during Nobody's Son's performance. Okay. So, Charles Rocket gets blasted by the FCC, but you let a hot chick say the F word. I get it. I see the double standard. Charles Rocket was on Saturday Night Live, and he got so bored one night on the show, he just said F you, I think. Or F. I don't know if he said F you or F. All right, moving on. Bleeding Fool. Jessica Jones could lead a comeback for the Netflix-era heroes in the MCU. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. If they did them as good as the Netflix allegedly did them, but even Netflix started wearing out their welcome in the third season of Daredevil, from what I hear. Alex Ogle, ignorance is strength, double plus good. Oh, here was a couple of ridiculous articles. Spoiler, Batman perishes in DC Absolute Universe crossover. So there they are killing Batman again. Like, anybody wants to pay to see that. Back in the day, it was shocking when they did that in Imaginary Stories at DC, but these days, like, I don't know anybody who would even care or even notice because they've done it so many times. And then Star Trek fans get roasted. Stephen Colbert joins Starfleet Academy. Now, I saw the trailer for Starfleet Academy. It's literally the worst thing I've ever seen in Star Trek, hands down. Hands down. I would include Discovery was woke as F. Woke as F. Starfleet Academy somehow looks worse. So far, they've had Holly Hunter in the lead role, and she sounds like Holly Hunter. She sounds like some hillbilly that just got out of the trailer park, but somehow she's running Starfleet Academy. Like, she didn't really change up her voice much at all. And what's the other thing? Oh, yeah, they had an advertisement. I think it was at New York Comic Con. And in the background, there was a picture of the Klingon character, and he's wearing a dress, like a skirt as part of his uniform. And it got such a bad backlash, they took down the picture and took it down in the con. Because I guess they were trying to, like, lay the groundwork. Like, oh, we might put the Klingon in a dress. Let's see how the fans react to that. And it got such a bad reaction. Apparently, they took it down. LeMay, they are going to kill him after they already did a fake out? I guess. Yeah. Indy Phantom will pass on Starfleet Woke Academy. It looks so woke. And then on top of all that, Stephen Colbert is joining the cast. He's going to be the digital dean. And I guess he's going to be an AI version of something at the academy that the students talk to, so Stephen Colbert can still have work after he leaves The Late Show. Which is so perfect to put Colbert on the dying Star Trek, which I hope it's going to be Alex Kurtzman's last hurrah on Star Trek, because then Skydance has taken over, and really they invested all this money into it, so I think they're just going to, like, plop it out there to see if they can make some of their money back, because, you know, God knows what they spent on Starfleet Academy. Indie Phantom Colbert as the Klingon in a dress? No, he's going to be the digital Dean. That would be pretty funny, though. But imagine you get cast as a Klingon, and you're like, oh, that'll be cool. I'll get one of those cool curved swords, a bat laugh, and I'll be, wasting dudes. Like, no, we want you to be in a dress. You're going to be the gentle Klingon. You'd have to be like, oh man. Or worse, like, you go to the audition and they're like, well, we're looking for somebody to be a Klingon. Oh, yeah, I could be a Klingon. I'll kill people, right? Yeah, well, we're going in a different direction with this Klingon. How do you feel about wearing a dress and being kind of, ambiguous about your sexuality and your gender as a Klingon? And, like, you really need the money, so you go, yeah, I really, really would like to do that. There's your acting. That deserves an award, if you could sell that. Alex Ogle, Kurtzman should be unemployable and unarrestable by now. Yeah, he really should have been barred from show business by this point. And definitely barred from science fiction. There should have been a movement amongst the Trekkies to bar him from every Star Trek convention. But unfortunately, if you haven't guessed already, the fandom is mostly woke too. That'll be the last phase of getting rid of the woke. It's trickled down to fandom. If you didn't know already, I'm sure I've talked about it. It's a mess down there. So all the wokies are also in the fandom as well. But probably, I think what's going to happen is, we're hitting this area where people are turning back to religion and, more traditional ways of looking things. Some people are going too far already, but it's heading back to that. I think what's going to happen is the people who are left behind in the fandom and the furries and all these like various fan groups are probably going to be left to rot by themselves, and they're going to be the ones that feel that they can't make that change and get out of it, and they're going to be like pointed to and mocked, and they're just going to go down with the fandom ship, and whatever conventions are connected to that will just disappear, and new ones will emerge. But probably some of them won't, because keep in mind, back in the 80s, Dungeons and Dragons, the Christian right came after Dungeons and Dragons like hard for a while. So I mean, I got nothing against religion. I'm not religious myself, but let me have my game. My game is not bothering you. All right. Moving on. The Wrap. More on Black Phone. Wrap, of course, getting into politics. Donald Trump shares AI-generated video of himself dropping feces on No Kings protesters. Huh, that is accurate. Alex Ogle, Klingon Klapla. It is a good day to D-I. I've broken a nail. I have broken a nail. Stop everything. I need a bubble bath. Yeah. Rand Paul responds humbly to Trump calling him nasty little guy, still one of his best supporters. 7 terrifying possession movies to watch on Halloween. 7 best psychological thrillers on HBO Max. All right, let's look at these just real quickly. Okay, so we'll start with the psychological thrillers on HBO Max. I have these. Rashomon, 1950. That's not really a psychological thriller, is it? But yeah, that's a classic. Silence of the Lamb. Okay, that's a good movie. I like that. Sixth Sense. I like The Sixth Sense. I didn't see it coming. You look back at the movie, it seems different. Uncut Gems. I tried to watch this movie. I couldn't get into it. It's on my short list of movies I just couldn't finish. I was kind of bored. Gone Girl. I've heard great things about this. Haven't seen it yet. Enemy? Yeah, I don't know this one at all. Director Denis Villeneuve? Maybe. Seance on a Wet Afternoon, 1964. No idea. Okay. Maybe I'll check one of those out. 7 terrifying possession movies to watch this Halloween. Alex Ogle. Ah, yes. Halloween. Tawdry horror movies will take over until Christmas rush. People are already pushing for Christmas. Indie Phantom. His girlfriend in Uncut Gems was hot. She was. She was. I agree. Indie Phantom. Enemy sucks. All right. Never heard of it. All right. The Last Exorcism, 2010. That doesn't look good. Jennifer's Body. Oh, come on. Yeah, I'm not watching a Diablo Cody film. The Conjuring, 2013. I'd watch The Conjuring. I've heard it's watchable. Paranormal Activity. I did watch this movie. It's okay. Kind of fun. Evil Dead remake? Nah, not interested. Like the originals. The Shining. Classic. Love The Shining. One of the best. The Exorcist. Classic. Love The Exorcist. One of the best. Alright. So that wasn't a bad list. Indie Phantom. Can't buy Doogie Howser in Gone Girl playing straight. Oh. That could be a problem. Cosmic book news. Zack Snyder sparks DCU's shakeup with Henry Cavill's Superman Instagram post. Yeah, this happens like every other week. Give it up. He's not coming back. Avengers Doomsday writer wants Glenn Powell as Nova. Alright, I could see it. I mean, I wasn't a big Nova fan, but sure, why not? Pentagon slams Netflix boots as woke garbage. Because it looks like woke garbage. It's Gay Marines. Another show I'd be like, who is this for? How many twos of people do you think will watch this thing? What kind of audience are you even going for on Netflix? Doctor Who says, Doctor Who isn't dead, says producer. We're not done yet. Did you find some new way to gay him up? I mean, yeah, I think you people are done. It's a good thing that BBC is run by the government, or you people wouldn't. You'd definitely be run out of show business for what you've done to a character. Ruined that character. James Gunn Superman flops on HBO Max, trails Black Adam and Marvel. That's pretty impressive that it doesn't even stack up to Black Adam. Wow. The Daily Wire dropped this Pendragon cycle, Rise of the Merlin. I think this is the project Jeremy Boring apparently spent a whole lot of money and a lot of his time investing in. He's apparently really into the books, I guess. I don't know. It feels like too much of a investment now for the Daily Wire. I don't know why they didn't do a bunch of cheaper things and sort of build up their channel more. I guess, maybe they need one big hit to draw people in. I don't know if this is it. They need some names. They don't have big enough names. Adam Carolla's kind of a name, but I kind of wanted to see Mr. Burcham, the cartoon he was doing, but they need to find a way to get people to watch some of their programming for free with commercials, and then I think that way they'll eventually build an audience for their shows. And more on Tron Ares. That Park Place. K-pop Demon Hunters tops 2025 Halloween costume charts amid continued streaming success. I still have no idea what this is, and I'm looking forward to never knowing what it is. Marvel's X-Men reboot finally gets a release date. Kevin Feige promises a reset, not a reboot. Yeah, that's a distinction without a difference. You're just going to recast everybody and pretend like everything happened? That doesn't make any sense. But you do you. I don't even care where the reboot is or whatever it is. Bibbidi Bobbidi. Boutique switches to gender-neutral costumes after controversy. I don't care about that. That's in Disney, I think. And Gloria Estefan says Rachel Zegler will play her in a movie that doesn't exist. Okay. Well, that sounds like good news. A Rachel Zegler movie that doesn't exist is better than one that does. All right, let's wrap things up because it's 10 o'clock. Secret Service finds hunting stand overlooking Trump's Air Force One exit. Whoa, that is no bueno. Alex Ogle was just making myself a huge, perfect Manhattan. They'll never top John Borman's Excalibur. Yeah, that is a great movie. That's another one. They're not doing it as a movie, though. I think the Pendragon thing is like, I think it's like a series, like a mini series. Like it's supposed to be like Game of Thrones, but I don't see how you get a bunch of fantasy fans over at the Daily Wire, you know? Because like the Daily Wire is political. Like the comedy kind of works because they wove the comedy into, you know, some of their brand. Right? Because What is a Woman is pretty funny. The Lady Ballers movie was funny. So you could see how the comedy could work. And there's no comedy out, so... But you need a way to get people to watch your product for free when you do media stuff. Like, it's fine to say to the Daily Wire customers, okay, you pay for this service, you get to see everything commercial-free, you know, first, and then weeks later we're going to release it and put commercials on it, and anybody could see it. That's the way I would do it. LeMay, Disney clothing store that sells $200 plus princess dresses to girls. Church neighborhoods tagged with No King's Vandalism graffiti. God bless Letitia James for saying F you to Trump. I mean, who cares what she says? I mean, I hope Letitia James loses her case and goes to jail and gets disbarred. I really do. At least it'll shut her up, maybe. Here's the... okay, this is a link to the video. Let's see if I can show it without... This is the Trump video if you want to see it. It's pretty funny. I gotta shut off the music. They're playing Highway to the Danger Zone, and there he is, and he's dumping the poo, and there it is. Okay, I can't show the whole thing. Here, I'll click away, and then click back, and then poo on Harry Stinson. So it comes from the sky, and then they're all covered in poo. I don't know how you could copyright strike me for showing this video because I don't think there's any kind of copyright on it. But watch YouTube do it anyway. See, he's dropping poo from his airplane in the sky. It's pretty good AI, I gotta say. What else? John Cusack. Trump is an authoritarian. His masked goons are abducting people. They work for ICE. They're not abducting people. They are taking people illegally in this country and sending them home. That's not an abduction. And an abduction is when they kidnap you and they don't send you home. Like if you don't go home, you're kidnapped. If you do go home, you're no longer kidnapped. They're not hurting people. Law and Order organized crime star Chris Maloney. Trump is a clear and present danger to America. Again, he's got TDS. Oh, man. He's got serious TDS. He hates Trump. Nevada labor unions capitalize on Hollywood production decline with push for Las Vegas studios. I could see it. They're building one in New Jersey in Monmouth County. That's up north from me. My friend and I want to pitch to Netflix, but we're not sure how to get a meeting yet. But at least they're in the neighborhood now. I could just drive up there. But Oh, Sam Rivers, Limp Bizkit bassist and co-founder, dies at 48. That's too soon, said the 59-year-old. How did he die? I mean, I know Limp Bizkit, but I didn't really know him specifically. They were still playing, too. The cause of death has not been disclosed. 48. That's rough, man. Hollywood celebrities pushed left-wing No Kings rallies to send a signal to the Trump regime. As the usual suspects here: Barbara Streisand, Mark Ruffalo, what's her face? Oh, Billie Eilish, that's her name. I forgot for a second. She looks weird in that picture. Did she have the cheek thing too? She kind of looks like Jenna Ortega cheek thing going on there. So here's No Kings, blah, blah, blah. Oh, do we have celebrity quotes? We do. Let's end on this. Mark Hamill. He gives $20 billion of our dollars to bail out Argentina without consulting Congress or the American people. Does it seem like the actions of a king to you? Says Mark Hamill. Join us and let him know what you think about this Saturday, 10/18. Join us. Did Mark Hamill march? I bet he didn't, but we'll see. No doubt there will be some provocations and scuffles, but whatever fears the Republicans are trying to gin up with their talk of Marxists and Antifa and terrifying naked bicycle rides are likely to wind up limp as well. You fill in the blank. Michael Ian Black, who you may or may not believe was in The State, a group of comedians who did comedy sketches. He actually used to be pretty funny. I don't know. He seems to have TDS very bad. Mia Farrow, of course, claimed her support of rallies sends a signal to the Trump regime. If we turn up on the streets for No Kings on Saturday, we, the people, are sending a signal to the Trump regime that they are losing legitimacy. Also, we are expressing solidarity with our neighbors. Again, I don't think she went. I'm pretty sure. I mean, when you're famous and a celebrity, I don't know if you go to these things. It's kind of a risk. Plus, they're pretty old, some of these people. Michael Ian Black is, but she is. This is Barbara Streisand. I don't think I could do Barbara Streisand. On Saturday, no, I can't do it. On Saturday, October 18th, I'm asking you to attend the No Kings March in our local communities. We have witnessed an increasing authoritarianism in its policies in our country. We dissent. Again, I bet she didn't go. This is all on Blue Sky, by the way. Does anybody read the post on Blue Sky? Matthew Dowd. I forget who that is. I am planning to going to No Kings gathering on the weekend in Central Texas. And since I was terminated by MSNBC, oh, now I remember who he is, a few weeks ago, can someone let me know where to pick up the paycheck that the GOP keeps talking about? I've asked many folks going to No Kings and none are getting paid. Ha ha ha. Oh yeah, there's no paid protesters. That's just a joke. That's GOP propaganda. The most patriotic thing that you could do is say No King, says Andor creator Tony Gilroy. See, I told you that show was communist Star Wars. Actress Jean Smart shared a video. Don't care. Mark Ruffalo shared some kind of meme. Oh no, he said something. We, the people, we have the power together. We will win. Check out this inspiring video and share it with your family and friends and neighbors to join one of the over 2,500 No Kings protests. Courage is contagious. Each of us has an important role to play in this historic moment by exercising our First Amendment rights, freedom of speech, blah, blah, blah. NoKings.org. Find a protest place near you. No, thank you. LeMay, I saw some people pushing the protest on the Neighbors app. Tom Elliott retweets Kimmel saying the American Revolution was a No Kings rally. Yeah, you people all would have been uh, all about the king, because you're all about the status quo and being comfortable. And I found out, much to my shock, doing some research into the American Revolution, a lot of the locals were for the king. They didn't want to be part of the American Revolution. That was a real sort of shock to me. I thought, like a lot of people in America, that most people stood up, once the Patriots started standing up to the king, that most people said, oh yeah, we want to be free, we want to be Americans. Nope. A lot of people just didn't want to be involved and just sort of hedged their bet or said no. A lot of them said no, I'm with the king. Now, some of those people got kicked out of the country and they lost their property, which probably wasn't nice. But yeah, it's a surprising number of people who just said, leave me out of this. Let me know who wins in the end. Oh, and normally I end on Breitbart. I forgot. Did I skip one? No, I didn't. Oh, okay. All right. I think that's the last headline. Man, that was a good one, too. Had a lot of good headlines tonight. One more. Snoop Dogg features LGBTQ couples in his children's show after criticizing Disney's LGBTQ content in Lightyear. I guess the check cleared, and Snoop said, oh, it's okay then. I mean, what a turnaround. And what a weird turnaround for him. But okay. I'm not going to watch his stupid show anyway. In my opinion, it's stupid. All right. That's about it. All right. What have we learned today? Well, we've learned whatever fashion sense Hollywood used to have apparently died at some Academy Gala that's only 5 years old. Man. And that women will literally wear anything if they're, I guess, famous enough or think they'll get enough, I don't know, fame out of going to a dinner or whatever. Did he even get served dinner? That would piss me off. Go to some crazy gala, I got to dress all up. All right, where's the food? No, there's no food. We just sit here. You can get drinks. I don't want a drink. I want something to eat. Oh no, we don't want to get food on, on our clothes and stuff. That would be me. If I got dragged to one of them. What else did we learn? Oh gosh. Oh, we learned movies are done, man. Especially that movie that only made $19 a theater. Holy crap, if that's true. That Sony movie, I forget what it was already. What else did we learn? Gosh. Oh, yeah. We learned that they will defend one battle after another till the bitter end. I mean, they're going to be talking about this movie, I don't know, forever. Until they give it all the Oscars. Just give it all the Oscars. Who cares? And Paul Thomas Anderson, I mean, I assume they're going to give him more movies. If they're defending the movie this hard, why wouldn't they give him more movies? Or do they secretly realize, yeah, we made no money on this thing. We don't want to give him more movies, but we're going to pretend like he made a great movie. And then, we'll just quietly not greenlight anything for a while. Or put him on something. Just put him on a movie that he has to make in order to save his career. I mean, that's what they would do in the past. Bring in a new guy. Maybe they'll just bring in the next guy and then just forget his number. What else? I think that's about it. LeMay. Jewels with the inestimable value stolen from Napoleon collection. Did I miss that? Or did I miss that? Oh, that's the stuff that was stolen from the Louvre, I bet. I bet that stuff was, let's see. Robbery. The Louvre. I'm probably saying that wrong. Yeah, necklace given by Napoleon to his wife among the items taken from Paris Museum. How the hell did they do this in the daytime? Man, Paris must be falling apart. LeMay, yes. Jesus. What a nightmare Paris must be. And France in general. Oh, this is behind a paywall, of course. Let's see. Try Fox News. Criminals entered through a construction site along the Seine River, stole priceless jewels of historical value. Classic. Same picture. This is the news. Every outlet that's covering this, I bet, uses the same damn pictures of those three cops standing outside the Louvre. The Louvre will remain closed today for exceptional reasons. Okay. The Louvre houses over 33,000 works spanning antiquity, sculpture, and painting, from Mesopotamian artifacts and Egyptian relics to masterpieces by European artists. Its iconic treasures include the Mona Lisa, Venus de Milo, and the Winged Victory of Samothrace. I'm saying that probably wrong. How do you let this go? Man. See, that's tough. Like, if they'd stolen the paintings, right? The paintings, they can't chop up the paintings and sell them. But those jewels, oh yeah, they pop those babies right out. Start cutting up the gems. I mean, they won't get as much money, but they'll still get money. Alex Ogle, the Louvre was robbed of some remnants of the French crown jewels. Damn, that's messed up. But then again, I bet there's some guys who would pay for it. I bet there's some guys in Middle Eastern countries that pay for it. Oh yeah, don't cut them up at all. I want Napoleon's wife's necklace for my wife. Alex, I was very surprised to hear of it. Yeah, I'm shocked too. I mean, you'd think like a place like this would just be, there'd be no way. No way. And like, what's the plan once you get these? Man, you got to get out of the country with this stuff. You got to have a plan. Thieves use basket lift in daring Louvre robbery. Alex, sounds too sophisticated a robbery for the diversity. You just got to be paying attention. People underestimate thieves because they think they're stupid. There's a difference between being stupid and uneducated. Stupid people, it doesn't matter how much education you give them. They can only get so smart. But some people who are uneducated are extremely shrewd. They just watch things and they wait and they listen. I mean, obviously, in a heist like this, you're gonna have a guy who's got an inside track somewhere. Someone worked near there, and someone saw that some of the security was off, or just couldn't be on, or somebody worked there. So they're gonna catch. They always catch that guy first because, because like, how does he participate in the robbery? Either he disappears along with the robbers, or they find him. He's got some gambling habit, and they paid him off. Like, they paid him like 10 grand to tell him the stuff, and he's already out of the money, and then he confesses because he just doesn't want to go to prison the rest of his life. Or he has to join the heist, escape with the robbers, and never come back to France. But I mean, that would be the smart way. But again, I don't know what you do with them. What do you do with these jewels? Like, how do you move them? Because everybody's looking for you. You got to get out of the country. That's number one. That's pretty easy from France, because really they just have to get out of France, and that's the easy part. Then once you're in, like, I don't know, say Germany or Belgium, or even just to Italy, then it's just a matter of crossing the Mediterranean. There aren't too many people crossing the Mediterranean the other way, but still, they're not stopping anybody. So then once you're like in North Africa, I mean, you're pretty far away from France and the government's there. But you got to have a bankroll to just do that. and to insulate yourself from the local populace. But you'd have to have a plan to unload the jewels onto somebody who would give you money for them. So, I mean, unless you're going to just cut them all up and sell the individual jewels, which would be a double tragedy, because then you'll never get them back, or you get them back but they're all cut up. So, but that's like a theft and a half. All right, I'm gonna wrap it here. Little Joan, would you like to say goodnight before we go? Come here. Come here. No, she would not. All right, next week, what do I got going? I got nothing going on Sunday. Nothing. But apparently I may be double booked for Thursday, so I got to check into that. Thanks for tuning in. Before you leave today, please give me an upvote and check out my other videos. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you in the next one. Alex Ogle, sounds too sophisticated, a robbery for diversity. I read that one. Lemaine, good night all. Good night all too. All right, see ya.